Throat coat. That's the new remedy, throat coat. Good afternoon to all. Big Sills here. And by the way, feeling much better. We're ready to rock. And I'm going to start it out by saying something that Joe Krause said about 7 years ago. Embiid's a stiff. And you know what? He's out for game 2. What a shocker. I told you, this guy is pyrite. He's fool's gold. He'll bring you in with his ability, and then guess what? He always disappoints. The guy's a stiff. He's missing game 2. Look, I know we're not in the era of Willis Reed, and we're not in the era of people like wanting to play through pain. But this guy is a legitimate stiff. And you're sitting there and you're like, hey, man, it's the playoffs. You're in the second round. Something that Embiid has not seen for a while. And the Sixers haven't seen for a while. And now all of a sudden, here he is. I'm out game 2. I mean, thank you, Sue, very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, hey, by the way, Zander and Joe Krause, throat coat. Throat coat. Hey, by the way, I want a free endorsement. I want a box sent to my house. How you doing? All right, like button. Hit it. And Super Chats go to the top. I heard something John McMullen said to Zander today. By the way, yes, Battle Royale, 4:30. Big Z at 3:30. I heard something that John McMullen said, okay? And we have been echoing this since the beginning of the year, okay? What is that? Have you ever heard any other coach or organization ask their quarterback to play like another quarterback in the NFL? Have you heard anybody ever say, Lamar, I want you to play like Brock Purdy? That's exactly what the Eagles are doing. The Eagles want Jalen Hurts to play like Brock Purdy. Nobody in their right mind tells a quarterback that's on their football team, I want you to play like somebody else. Come on, man. That's so unbecoming. So you're doing things that you want him to look and play like Brock Purdy. John's right. We've been saying it since January. It makes no sense. I want you to play like another quarterback. I mean, why would you build a football team around everything the guy can't do? It's such a bad and flawed mentality. It really is. It's such a bad mentality. And it's a remedy for disaster. Okay? I mean, not happening. Philly's got Christian Gonzalez coming to Philly. That ain't happening. Elliott Wolf is not giving up. He is not giving up Christian Gonzalez. It's not happening. It's going to be a 2 and a 3, and it's going to have stipulations on that too. If the guy plays this year, X amount of percentages of plays, the 2028 pick will be a first rounder. We're actually going to talk more than that and about that. Okay? Sills, with most teams playing over 70% zone, wouldn't it be smart to switch to our play style passing? We rely too much on explosive plays instead of moving the ball down the field methodically. We're going to get into this, and we're going to get into all of this, I promise. It wouldn't make sense on like 4 different fronts for why Gonzalez getting traded to Philly makes no sense. It's not happening. That's not happening. All right, hit the like button. Bunch of topics here. I mean, here, I'm going to start it out on a positive note here. Do you guys think that without A.J. Brown in the locker room, it'll make for a healthier Eagle locker room in 26? Let's start there for a second, and then we'll move on. Not having AJ. you're clearly a lesser talented team, okay? You're going to be clearly a lesser talented football team. But doesn't it make sense? Hey, how about this? Who likes going to work and you're working around a bunch of assholes? Does anybody like that? Nobody likes that. That's why we don't have Mike Missinelli here. I mean, I'm kidding. I'll leave that alone. I'll leave that alone. But that's why we don't have – nobody likes going to work with a-holes, man. Nobody likes that. Everybody likes going to work with good environment, people you like. Look, when you work in our business and you work in broadcasting, you know what? It's tough to be like that. But, dude, I like going to work where my producers and everybody are in a good place. Same thing when you guys go to work, or same thing when you guys have an ability to be able to work around people you like. I mean, hey, look, you're not as talented. You're not going to be, you are, get this. I don't care what you think. And there's going to be a lot of people in here that are going to try to convince you. Watch, I'll show you. Hey, M. Reyes, do you think you're more talented at wide receiver in 2026 than you were the last 5 years? He'll say yes. He'll think because you have more bodies means you're better. Just because you have guys in the room don't make you better. I mean, or anybody who's a Jalenite in here, they'll tell you they think they're better. They're not better. You got a rookie and you got a bunch of mid-level receivers. Get this. Of course he does. See? He thinks a bunch of mid-level receivers. Get this. He thinks a bunch of mid-level receivers are better than AJ and Devontae. Of course he does. That's absurd. Nobody believes that. Nobody with any brains believes that. Okay? Nobody. Just because you have 4 guys doesn't mean they're equal. That's like saying that the Eagles have a better running attack with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley than the Ravens do with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. You'd be out of your mind to think that. Based on what? J. Mac basically said, Hurts can't do it. Hey, well, we've been telling you that he can't do it from the pocket either. But wait a minute. I want to start it out with AJ. AJ being gone will make a better environment. It'll be a better environment in the locker room. It will totally be a better locker room. Oh, and by the way, see this? You don't even know if Devontae Smith could be a number 1 player. You're assuming that. You're assuming Sean Mannion is going to be a good coordinator. You're assuming AJ could do it. I mean, Devontae could be a 1. You're assuming the O-line's better. And you're assuming Barkley's going to play. All assumptions. No facts. That's the difference. Those are all assumptions. Sills, agree with your take. The problem is there's always an asshole where you work. You must ignore the douche. Yeah, well, I think that's what they tried to do with AJ being in the building. Okay? You're assuming he can't pick up the West Coast system. Yes, because in 6 years in Philly, he's never. And get this. He never played it at Alabama. He never played it at Oklahoma. He never played it in Philly. You're assuming that he's going to do something he's never done in his life. Ever. At any level. High school, college, or pro. Never done it. And you're assuming in year 7 in the NFL, he's going to do it. Yes, I completely agree. But Hurts deserves a chance. Yes, absolutely. 1,000%. I agree with that. Yes. 1,000%. Absolutely. Hey, Sills, did the Eagles have mid-level receivers on their first Super Bowl run? You had a running back and a quarterback who accommodated each other and accounted for 2,500 rushing yards and 26 touchdowns. Yeah, okay. 26 touchdowns and 2,500 rushing yards between the quarterback and Miles Sanders. Put that in context, too. You had an elite run game. In both years, you went to the Super Bowl. Miles Sanders had 1,300 yards rushing. Hurts had 15 touchdowns. The other guy had 13 touchdowns. Hurts had nearly 800 yards rushing. I mean, counting the playoffs, you had a shitload of yards rushing. Sills, the first and 28 and the second or 3 and 27 is bullshit. New England said a 1 and a 2 was unserious. It hasn't changed. The onus hasn't changed. And now they're going to give us more. Yeah, right. You said a 2 and a 3 as well. So which is it? 2 and a 3. I think with a stipulation that if he plays to the level that they want him to play in New England, I think he has a shot at making that second into a 1. Okay? Get this. See this? This is so egregious. It's so ridiculous. 2,400 passes. He's thrown less than 100 in the middle. Guys, they don't throw across the middle because the quarterback can't. Or they would. Here. Might as well get to it. So, here are the challenges that Hurts has. Do you guys know what Jaylen's record is with passes 30 or more in his career? With 30 passes or more in his career, do you know what his record is? Anybody? 30 or more passes. Do you know what his record is? 30 or more. Anybody? He's 20 and 16. He's 20 and 16 with passing games, 30 or more. Okay? He's 20 and 16. Here are the challenges. We broached them again yesterday. Only 99 attempts and 2393 attempts in his career. Hurts in the pocket in 2024, 74%. 2025, 68%. Out of the pocket. 2024, Hurts is 47%. 2025, Hurts is 52%. Once you get the quarterback on the move, okay? Once you get the quarterback on the move, play's done passing-wise. If Hurts doesn't have simple reads, the numbers tell you exactly what the challenges are going to be in 2028, or 26. The challenges are going to be, can he throw across the middle? And can he throw the ball on the run? Which he's not in his, again, in 2024 and 25, he can't throw on the run. He's under 50%. I mean, simple. Listen to this. Again, I want to put it in context. If you're going to increase the volume of passes this year with this new offense, okay, and you're going to add more context with more talent around him, okay, you have to look at his challenges. 99 total passes across the middle of the field in nearly 2,400 attempts. If you get him on the move, he's under 50%. 24, 47.2. And at 25, he was 52.6. He's barely 50%. So you can't move the quarterback. The quarterback's going to have to be more apt to be able to have more motion, get guys involved in being able to be moved around the field, because the guy's limited. His trends tell you. Sills, just pull up the 22 through 25 season interceptions on YouTube, and it shows you that 75% of his interceptions come when he throws inside the numbers. That backs up the stats from yesterday. Completely true. I'm talking about the challenges that the new coaches are going to have this year and the challenges that Jaylen's going to have. Every single thing that they want to do, Sean McVay-wise, like Johnny Mac said today, it just doesn't make sense. There's got to be, again, are they challenging the quarterback? It seems they're challenging him to up his game as a player. Hey, every single player has to have his game challenged. I don't think that that's out of the box to ask a guy to challenge himself. So the way I see it, Nicole Lynn wants an extension for the quarterback who is starting his 30s. He has one option. He needs to run. I feel like I need to be a professor. The Eagles are risk averse. Throwing it to the middle increases the chances of turnovers. Correct. Tip passes, fumbles, all kinds of shit. Absolutely. The Eagles will have to be okay with having turnovers to fairly judges. That's a great take. That's a great take. Once again, here are the challenges. Jalen Hurts' career record with 30 or more passes in his career is 22 and 16. So if you're going to up the level of passes, he's not won a lot. Out of 2,400 passes, he's thrown across the middle 99 times. You add this into it now also. 2024, he's 74% in the pocket. 25, he's 68.1 in the pocket. If you move him and get him running, in 2024, he was 47% in the pocket. Last year, he was 52.6% when you got him on the move. If you bring pressure on Hurts, he won't throw across the middle. He'll throw to the numbers. And if you get him on the move, the play's dead passing-wise. You don't think coordinators know that? That's why the passing offense as a unit has been at the bottom of the league for 5 years. These are some of the challenges that he's going to face this year. It's not a coincidence that they are signing separation specialist receivers. They are trying to make Jalen's life as easy as possible over the middle. Yeah, that's right. Get this. Dak gets $4,000 and done nothing. That's not the point. You're talking about a football team that is not well run. The Eagles' difference with the Eagles and the Cowboys, the Eagles are a better run organization. They build a roster. Jerry builds TV stars. You completely missed the point. Jerry Jones wants a theatrical show, and he's got it. Who said he wants to win? It's a different, in Dallas, there is a different mentality. Dallas is not trying to win championships. Dallas is trying to win ratings. Hey, by the way, Why is the Dallas Cowboys the richest franchise in the planet? That's all Jerry Jones cares about. You got a different fundamental in Dallas. You're missing it. Jerry's got his 3 Super Bowls. Jerry Jones' number one priority is to make the Cowboys the face of sports in the world, and he's done that. They've got the richest evaluation of any team in world sports. They got a different mentality in Dallas. Big Sales, should the Eagles look into trading for Kyle Hamilton? I feel we need an upgrade the safety position. Do you agree? Okay, Kyle Hamilton, are you giving up Cooper DeJean? Are you giving up Devontae Smith? Anthony, who do you think you're giving up? Nolan Smith and a pick? Every time you bring a name like Kyle Hamilton up, make sure you bring someone up in that same talent level. Are you sending Jaylen Carter? Who are you sending? Jerry Jones doesn't give a shit about winning. He cares about winning TV ratings. He cares about revenue for his team, not winning. Because if he did, he'd hire better coaches and better talent evaluators. Because he's not one. Sills, is this fair? The post-Jimmy Johnson players are a bunch of entitled kids or jackasses. Kyle, look at the way the stadium's built. When the players come out, all the fans get to see them. All you have to do is look at Jerry's world. And you know it's not about winning. It's not about winning in Dallas. It's about being popular in Dallas. It's not about championships. What do they do that's championship level in Dallas? Nothing. That's perfect for Jerry Jones. Puts up big numbers, big TV show. Hey, by the way, winning and losing for the Cowboys creates television ratings. The Cowboys being bad is just as good as the Cowboys winning. It's like America's Got Talent. It's not really a real football organization. That's not an organization that's striving to be great. Look at the way they build their roster. Yeah, it's the Dallas Kardashians. Not looking to win. Dak's perfect. If Dak ever wants to win a Super Bowl, he's got to leave Dallas. Can't win in Dallas. Nobody's going to win in Dallas. When Jalen's had terrible defenses, he's still been able to get his team to the playoffs. That's with the lack of coaching on the offensive side of the ball. David, I think you missed the point on what we're doing here. Getting to the playoffs, that's a Cowboy mentality. I thought you were talking about winning a Super Bowl. You know the difference between covering the Jets and the Eagles? They're trying to have a 500 season in New York. You're trying to get to the Super Bowl. There's a different mentality and conversation, which means there's very little room for error. You're missing the point. You strive for 500, you'll fall below it. You strive for perfection, you'll learn to live with greatness. You need to set you need to shoot for the moon, dude. Sills, unfortunately, the questions you ask cannot be answered honestly. It's a waiting situation, and then we can critique it. You know what I'm critiquing? Here's my point. You're not setting this thing up to eliminate failure. Here, I think what we have to do is put it out here like this. Do I think Jalen Hurts is a bad football player? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do I think the kid has a way of working his ass off in the limited ability that he has? Okay, as a passer, he finds a way to get it done. Yes, but they're not helping him. All the things I pointed out will be the challenges in 26. Think about it. Look, anytime he throws the ball more, he's a 500 player. He's 22-16. He's never thrown the ball across the middle of the field, like ever. In the pocket, when he's got one read, he's 74%. Get this. You're 74% in the pocket. Ask yourself this. I'm going to point that these are challenges because to Al's point here, these are challenges, and we're going to wait and see what happens in the fall. But here, look how harder Jaylen and the coaches make it harder on him to win. You ready? Think about it. You eliminate the entire middle of the field in the passing game the last 5 years. Okay? 93% of his passes go to the numbers. In the pocket, he's 70. Here's why you're winning. In the pocket, 74%, 24, and 68% in 25. Well, that's without the use of a screen game, check down game, and a sprint out game. The Eagles' passing game, they make it harder on themselves more than any team in the league. You eliminate the middle of the field. The quarterback's not very good on the run. And if Jaylen can't find open receivers based on the skill set of the wideouts, the play's dead. That's the challenges that Sean Mannion and Jaylen have in 2026. And now what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to open up Pandora's box, and they're going to try to go to places on the field that they've never gone. In Jaylen's 5 years, this is what it is. I mean, this is who the quarterback has been. This is not an opinion. This is what he's done. This is his body of work. You know, the last couple months, we've been trying to figure out what they're going to approach and what their approach is going to be, right? Mikey, enough with the straitjacket BS. But Mikey, let me ask you something, Mikey. You think Troy Aikman played with a straitjacket in Dallas? I do. Do you think he played with a straitjacket in Dallas? Enough of the straitjacket BS. They're taking it off. This is what Jaylen wanted when he made that remark. Let's see if this quarterback can actually get better. Correct. This guy's missing the point. Dak's got stats, but 2 playoff wins in 10 years. I'm not sure lesser stats, but been to 2 Super Bowls and was a Super Bowl MVP. I'll take Hurts over that bum every day. You're completely missing the point. Nobody in America thinks that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. It's utterly ridiculous. Hold on. Let me go back to that guy. So, according to you, you think Jalen Hurts could go to Dallas and put that team in 2 Super Bowls with the 30th ranked defense and no running game? Fucking break. It's a Dunkoff comment. If Hurts played with Shanahan since 21, he'd probably be better than Mahomes. He doesn't have the skill. He's never had that skill, guy. He didn't have it at Bama. He didn't have it at OU. And he hasn't had it here. How in God's name do you think that he would have the same skill? Look, I'm talking about the challenges. Seals, do you think it's fair to omit a quarterback's first year when analyzing his career? Yes, I do. Most analysts leave it out. Yes, I do. Peyton Manning had 28 INTs in his first year. I never bring up Hurts' 2021 season, really. Okay? I really don't. And how about this? I bring it up sometimes, but quite frankly, how about this? Jalen Hurts' best year is 2022. Jalen Hurts' worst year, for some would say it was his rookie year. So he's going to be somewhere in the middle of that. That's who your quarterback is. Traditionally, that's who your quarterback is. He's never going to be his greatest year. He's never going to be his worst year. So he's somewhere in the middle. 3,300 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 picks, 600 rushing. He's somewhere in there. This is not going to change. Twiz. Dak has better skill set, but shrinks in. Yes, agreed. Don't act like Dak didn't have top 4 defenses and top 10 defenses. I never said that. Jerry has put a bunch of great players around him. Has Jerry name me a great coach that Jerry Jones has put around Dak Prescott, in your opinion? Mike McCarthy, probably the best, right? Twiz, would you rank Mike McCarthy as being one of the better coaches in the NFL right now, ever in his time? Would you? Would you put him, okay? Would you put him as one of the best ones? He's solid. Okay? Kellen Moore, Sills. Okay? Kellen Moore. In his 10 years, Kellen Moore. Okay, Kellen Moore. Who else? Hey, Tanel. Being a 4,000-yard passer, how about throwing across the middle of the field and not being so predictable? Let's say this, Danelle. Let's take the $4,000 out of the conversation. How about spreading the ball around better? Can we compromise on that? Going into year 7, Sills, whatever the coach has asked Jalen to do, he does, not no matter what the coach is. And that's why he's had the last 4 years have been up and down. Great, poor, great, poor. How come there have been such swings? Because it's coordinator related or roster related? Ask yourself this. Why did the team fail last year? You said because the offensive line wasn't very good. So if the offensive line is not healthy, Hurts can't win. I saw Joe Burrow go to a Super Bowl with the 28th ranked offensive line. T's actually great. T's great. Joe Burrow took a 28th ranked offensive line and went to the Super Bowl with it. Sills, if they still avoid the middle of the field on your Mannion with a screen game check down and run out. Yeah, that would help. Be enough to evolve the Eagle. Yeah, I completely agree. Dak is the reason Dallas went down 20-0 to the Packers. Dak's also the reason that he came back from 21-0 to beat you. That's basically what I meant, Sills. I said, it's okay. Sills, why pair the quarterback who has a lot to learn with a handicap head coach? What has Nick Sirianni taught these players in all those years with the team? Guys, do you remember Michael Irvin coming on the program? I know now why AJ wants out. The passing game is not AJ Brown. The passing game's a system. Michael Irvin told you. Big-time wide receivers want the passing game to go through them. The Eagles don't run the passing game through him. They force the passing game to him. That's why he wants out. A.J. Brown is not the Eagle passing game. Dak, 10 years in the league, he can't get to the NFC Championship. He's got to be part of the problem, and he is. Charles, used to love AJ. Can't stand him now. $32 million a year, has his health, still not happy, needs therapy. To be fair, Sells, the Packer game where Dak shit the bed, he was forcing the ball to CD. Looks similar to the issues Jaylen and AJ have dealt with in recent time. Yes. So my question is, what the fuck are we going to be when teams start doubling Smitty? All right. So let's get to the next topic. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thank you for being here. A lot better today, too, by the way, we feel. All right. So we talked about the challenges that Hurts is going to have. Now, here is really going to be another main topic as we go into 2026. In 2024, you guys were 2-2 at the start of the season, right? You were 2-2. You made changes after the bye week, right? After the bye, you made changes. If the new offense doesn't take shape and it wobbles out of the gate, does Barkley still have enough in the tank to carry the team like he did in 24? Think about what you're relying on. You're relying on Barkley and the O-line to carry the offense. If this passing formula doesn't work, you're acting like Barkley and the O-line are going to be the same as 24. If Barkley and the O-line don't return to 24 form and you're wobbling with this offense, it's going to be a train wreck. Jim West, thank you. We are feeling better. Bro, I'm good today. How many people believe that Barkley has enough to get through 17 games with that O-line? You're assuming that they're going to be better. Okay? Get this. If they double Smitty, we have a first-round pick. So, Hollywood is a mid-level player. Goddard is good, never utilized. So in his opinion, Mekhi Lemon is going to be Justin Jefferson this year. I disagree when they started forcing the ball to AJ because of the whining we lost. A more appropriate stat would be INT rate when throwing over 30 times. He's 22-16 counting playoffs. So why are you in the same breath assuming Dallas will stay hot in offense? Seems like a double standard. The Dallas Cowboys have to pay off their moves this offseason. And here, I'll tell you why. Why are you assuming the same breath Dallas's offense will stay hot? Okay. Here's why. It's a good point. He's asking the question here. See the question here? So why are you in the same breath assuming Dallas's offense will stay hot? Seems like a double standard. Okay? Here's why. 45-52, 30 touchdowns. 45-16, 36. 44-49, 37. 49-02, 30. 38-85, 22. All the seasons that he's played north of 15 ball games, Dak Prescott's gone for over $4,000 and over 30 touchdowns as an average. That's why. Dak Prescott a year ago led the NFL in completions, 404, with 600 attempts. That's why. That guy's done it. Seals, do you remember Sean Alexander? Yes, former Alabama back in 2005. Had an historic year once his two tackles, Steve Hutchinson and Walter Jones, left. Was it the same? Absolutely. Here's the stat, 7 wins. That's a team stat. It's like your Super Bowl. Top 5 and still can't win shit. Okay? Bro, you know what's funny? Dallas ain't changing. How come you are? And they won 7 games. And you won 11. You won 11 games. You're changing your entire offense and asking Jalen Hurts to play like Brock Purdy. They're not asking Dak to do anything different. And they won 7 games. How come? How come you're the one changing then? And you want your offense to look more like Dak's offense. Make that make sense. New talking points? Okay, here they are. 22-16 when throwing for 30-plus or more passes a game. When you have to take a guy outside the pocket, he's 47.8%, which means what we're talking about here is you don't throw across the middle, you throw to the numbers. And unless he finds a single read sitting in the pocket, the play's dead. There's a new talking point. Holy shit. Y'all make Sills look smart. Hey, there's a new talking point. Imagine saying the Cowboys won 7 games, but how many games the Eagles won and didn't do shit. Here's something to think about too, Texas boy. Nobody in Dallas is actually asking Dak to do anything different. In Philly, they're asking Jalen Hurts to play like Brock Purdy, which is insane. Come on, Sills. Everyone in the NFL has already figured out elite Sirianni's offense. Stop the run, guard the outside wide receivers. Yes. Yes. Now you're asking him to play like Matthew Stafford. How's that make sense? Seals, you said they can't keep winning with that high school offense. Correct. Now that we're switching, you're saying the complete opposite. Why? I'm not. I'm saying he can't do it. And I would never have changed. I'm not saying the complete opposite. I've never said he could run that offense. There is no way Jalen Hurts is running a West Coast offense. And let's be clear on this. There's no way I think your passing game is evolving into some fucking big time top 10 passing attack. You'll be lucky to be 15th. I would have stuck with it. The high school offense. Here's what is happening with the Eagles and Jalen. The ceiling's here. Folks, the ceiling's here. Zander, I don't know if Z's back yet, but when I first got on here, I told you guys that this was not going to be a long run, that this was not going to be something that was going to last like 10, 12 years. And this was not going to be anything like that. This was going to be short-lived because of the inabilities of the quarterback skill as a passer in today's NFL. This was going to be like 9 years, and it was going to be over with. You're here, and they're at the crossroads. This is why you're changing. Hey, like I said, no quarterback in pro football is being asked to play like Brock Purdy, except for Hurts. Those fucking receipts have been here since 21. So a certain contemporary of yours who was featured in that book you talked about used constantly shit on Matthew Stafford. But once he won a Super Bowl, he called him top 5 all time. A certain contemporary of yours who was featured in that book. What book are you talking about, my friend? Here's an AI nugget for you. While total between the number stats for the entire league are not fully finalized, the 2025 season data indicates high volume of inside throws for top offenses. Let's see here. Big Z got his eyes checked. By the way, Z, throw coat. Throw coat. Throw coat. Okay? Wins are not a quarterback stat. So how does a quarterback handle so many mouths to feed and the players we got? Listen, look at me. Bro, look at all these topics we have. Okay? Don't worry. We're going to cover it. Hey, I know a lot of people are sitting around struggling with content. That ain't happening here. That ain't happening here. Hey, Sills, when will the 18-game regular season start? Net collective bargaining agreement. Probably next year sometime when they start talking, maybe the owners' meetings in the fall. Maybe they'll ratify it for the 27 season. So this organization has been out in front for years. I think they're starting to read their own press. This changes was made because they believe they'll make it work at Jalen's expense. Here again, like I said, this was never like Zander's here now, and he heard me say this when I first got here. This was never going to last 10, 12, 13 years. This was going to be like 8 or 9 years. And do you guys remember what I said? Go back and listen to some of my first shows. You know what I said? I said if you get 2 Super Bowl appearances or a couple wins, it would be worth it. Well, here you are. You're at the crossroads. You're at the ceiling. This is it. And listen, unlike everyone else, there's no fucking waffling here. This guy will never do this. I want to do one more time here. 30 or more passes. He's 22-16. 23-93 in attempts. We talked about it yesterday. He does throw across the middle of the field. Hurts pocket. 24, he was 74%. 2025, he was 68%. Outside the pocket, in 24, Hurts was 47.2% completion percentage. 25, he was 52.6%. What's this all tell you? Here's the struggles. You don't throw across the middle field. You throw to the numbers. And if he has to move around in the pocket, he's not accurate. And now you're going to rely on him to be a strictly drop back guy with some running is unbelievable. Johnny Mac said it perfectly today and kind of echoed what we've been saying. You want him to play like Matthew Stafford? No quarterback in pro football is being asked to play like Jalen Hurts. That doesn't have Jalen Hurts' skill set. Like, can you imagine Zach Taylor going to Joe Burrow and going, I want you to play exactly like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts? Who fucking would do that? You're not creating an offense for the quarterback. You know, hey, get this. Jalen Hurts is not even a system quarterback now. Before he was a system quarterback. Now he's Nick Sirianni's system. Dude, you don't build a system for the coach. You build the system for the QB. It's almost like the front office is building an offense that fits the coach's skill sets more than the quarterbacks. Who does that? Name me one team. Kyle Shanahan, you guys constantly say this. Kyle Shanahan couldn't coach Trey Lance. Okay? What did he do? He got a quarterback that could fit his system. Hurts is not even a system quarterback anymore because they're taking that system away and putting him in a completely different one. And by the way, all of these numbers and trends we have, this is not an opinion. I'm not even having an opinion yet. Oh, the opinion is he's not doing this. I'm pointing out in 6 years, everything he's done. Everything he's done. This is what and how they've built the offense. Here, and get this. That winning system's gone now. That winning system's gone. That's not the case. That's not true. You know, some folks in here are saying things that just aren't true. By the way, I've said nothing that's not true. Gone. And if it's replaced by another winning system. So you believe that Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball like Matthew Stafford? I'm sorry. All the moves that they've made, I don't think, hey, and for the record, if they do a 10% or 20% change to it, you're not all in. It makes no sense to waste 3 first-round picks at wide receiver and be bottom 10 in passing as a unit the last 5 years. Make that make sense. And I'll ask you another question. How many people believe that Barkley If this thing wobbles like it did and you were 2-2 and 24, how many people believe that Barkley, the new offensive coordinator, and the O-line will carry the team to the playoffs? Name me one. Love to hear it. If Hurts and the offense, hey, how about this? How many games do you think this new offense is going to take to grab hold, if successful? How many games? New coordinator, new O-line coach, new passing coordinator, new run coordinator. How many games do you think it's going to take? Last year, it never took. Okay? I have no no. What are you talking about? Speculation. I'm asking you questions about people who have not done it. Okay, KC, that's not a bad Pietas. 11 to 12. Hey, Bob, let's take your 11 to 12 games. If the offense starts before the end of the season, you start throwing the ball better, and everything starts looking good, do you believe that your run game and your offensive coordinator and your new run game coordinator and the O-line is going to be up to 24, is going to be up to 24 ability to carry the team to the playoffs and potentially to a Super Bowl? Do you think you're asking a lot? Do you? Do you think you're asking a lot? Just curious. Okay? Okay, so wait. New coordinator. And get this, you can't even answer me when I ask a simplest question, why Mannion will be better. So get this. You think Mannion will be better with a system Hurts can't run, or I don't believe he can run, and he's a new voice in the building with a new O-line coach, and that's a seamless transition. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What happened last year? Bob, what happened last year? You never clicked for 17 weeks. Your offense didn't click for 17 weeks. You were 31st and 3 and outs, and you were 23rd. What happened? What happened? Bob, maybe we could talk a little bit what happened a year ago to see if they've corrected it this year. We had a head as an OC. Well, okay, Bob. So what makes Mannion better? What makes Mannion better, Bob? I think it's a fair question. What makes him better? Going to be a lot. 13 to 10 games this year. We had the practice squad out there all season. Who dropped the ball, Sills? I don't know. Listen, if I was going to run an offense, I would have brought in somebody who was a little more skilled. And that bullshit comment that people are now making that they interviewed 17 people and that one of the guys with all the pedigree wanted nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagle OC job. And they landed on a dude that's never done it instead of people that have done it. And they've done that for a reason. You know why? Because they think they're smarter than you. And that's why it's hit or miss. Good, bad, good, bad. Get this. You've had 2 Super Bowl appearances and 2 meltdown seasons inside of the last 4. Think about that. It's either Grand Slam or failure. The last 4 seasons, you've had meltdown and success. And it goes to what your hiring is. Hard to be worse than last year's 3-and-out offense. Yeah, well, here's the difference. Those other years, you didn't change the offense. Now you are. The only reason why people think he'll be better is because he played quarterback under McVay and allegedly coached under LaFleur. He did coach under LaFleur. What was the names of the coaches they interviewed with pedigree? I'm curious. I want to laugh at your answer. Easy. Hey, just because. Hey, okay. I'll ask you this. Hey, Preston, do you think that what's his name? Josh McDaniels is a good coach? Do you? Oh, by the way, Preston. So let me laugh at this then. So for 39 years, Vic Fangio sucked as a coordinator then because he never won a Super Bowl. Is that your take? That he never won a Super Bowl in 40 years of coaching? Okay? You tell me. Vic sucked for 39 years? Took Vic 40 years to win a Super Bowl. He must have sucked before that though, right? Not that I believe that. Is that right? No. Well, dude, there's a reason that Mike McDaniels was being interviewed and being sought after by the Eagles and every other organization. Same with Brian Dable. Same with a lot of the other coordinators that were being talked about that had high pedigree. Before Monken got the Cleveland job, he was another guy that they were interested in. You make it sound like all of a sudden, like those guys that nothing wanted anything to do with it. McDaniels is a child. LA suits the vagabond better. I actually think he's a pretty good coach. Head coach? No. Actually, last year he was the offensive coach of the year. Last year in the NFL. And I believe now, how many Super Bowls does Josh McDaniels has he been the coordinator for? McDaniels might actually make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If Vic Fangio's going to the Hall of Fame, so is a guy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Super Bowls. Josh McDaniels is going to the Hall of Fame as an OC with 6 Super Bowls. Don't kid yourself. Name me another coordinator in pro football history. Well, he coached Brady. Okay. Well, other coaches who have coached elite quarterbacks go to the Hall of Fame too. Bill Belichick coached Lawrence Taylor. Is it fair in a West Coast offense? Smitty can be good because the main target is the tight ends and the running back. Kyle, West Coast offense, tight ends and running backs are the target. Does that quarterback do any of that? You think a guy with 6 Super Bowls is not going? And do you think Vic is going? Fangio with 1 Super Bowl will go to the Hall of Fame. But Josh McDaniels with 6 won't. Pretty solid take. So the only thing I can think of, honestly, Dick Mannion had to give Nick some glorious idea of how he can make this offense work. Yeah, had to be the sales pitch. Here. Oh, my God. Josh McDaniels. Let's see. Offensive coordinator. Was he on that? Offensive coordinator. New England. 06 to 08. And 2000, and then from, let's see here, 2004 and 5. I can't believe he was an assistant. Also, defensively. Yes, Josh definitely has 6 Super Bowls. And, by the way, also, he took Drake May to a Super Bowl, which is pretty remarkable. Okay? Oh, by the way, once again, I just got a great text message. How about that stiff Embiid out today? 1 game. Well, that's 2 games now that he'll be missing. He's unwatchable. Joel Embiid is unwatchable. He really is. He's got to go down as one of the worst and most overrated players in the history of Philadelphia sports. What a bum. I mean it, man. How in God's name? You got people at WIP apologizing to that stiff. For what? I told you without a doubt that guy would reveal who he is. You know why? Because he's a stiff. Sales, I just got here. Hey, Sales, how you feel? I'm feeling good. Zander, throat coat. Throat coat. Throat coat. Embiid's a fraud. Sales, I don't think people understand how unprecedented it is for an organization to completely overhaul the offense to something that is completely different than your franchise quarterback skill set. No shit. You're asking Jalen Hurts to be Brock Purdy. He's unwatchable when he's not playing. Judge, one of the best centers. Yeah, he's unwatchable like he was in game 1, too. Falling all over the ground, bitching and moaning and crying. Hey, dude, Tiki Barber's right. Stop being a bitch. And by the way, something else. Stop telling fucking people who to buy tickets to come to the arena. What a worm. Do your job, guy. Go play ball. I don't want anybody playing in the arena from the New York area if you've got a zip code. What the fuck have you done? Who are you? Honest to God, what the hell have you done? Guy won his MVP award and quit. Guy's a bum. He's hurt, injury prone. I hate that part. But he had an organization fail to build around him. Okay, so wait a minute. When LeBron was in Cleveland and he had that whole stiff team with him, and he took that stiff team to the NBA Finals, and there were like guys on that team that shouldn't have been in the NBA. In the NBA. I guess that just shows you the greatness of LeBron. And Kobe winning a world championship with Paul Gasol. Yeah, okay. Of course you would, because you're a Gator dick. Bro, we had Ben Simmons, true. So happy he's not playing tonight. Time for Maxey. Go get him, Maxey. I love that kid. This guy's a fucking Gator. All Gators blow dog. End of story. Okay? There's only one thing in Gainesville that's worthy. You know what it is? It's the Gator Farm. Other than that, you could flatten the place. I could care less. Really, the only thing the Gators have is that Gator zoo they got there up on I-75. And chicks with no teeth that are great looking. Other than that, there's really nothing in Gainesville except for rednecks and the Gator Zoo. Outside of that, like I said, you could flatten the place and I'd be happy. Oh, wait. And Jason Cole's Bagel Bakery. Oh, man. Embiid will go down as one of the top. Yeah, okay. One of the top centers ever. Yeah, okay. So wait a minute. You think Embiid's better than Malone? I'm done with this guy. He's an idiot. I'm done. Hey, look at this. I'm done with this guy. He's an idiot. I'm done with him. Let's go. Chicks with no teeth. Beautiful too, Sue. I turned around and looked in the stands when I'm down there playing against them bums. Looked up. Wow. Chick turned. She's bleeding. Somebody hit her with a Howie Roseman beer can in the head. One of the best things I ever seen in my life. Just beautiful. I mean, I was like, shit. And Danny Stubbs looked at me and went, Sills, she's bleeding. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of hot. Man, Pete is still a matchup problem. Yeah, when he's sitting on the side there in street clothes and trying to figure out, if he needs 2 chairs or 1 chair. And basketball series doesn't start until the whole. Oh my God. No, the series started when you put Embiid on the floor. Let's see. Any comment on your girl Joy? Hey, yeah, congratulations to Joy. She got a job with Urban One Radio. Happy for her. I had her on my show the other day. Yeah, congratulations. Happy for her. Not this guy again. Yeah, you're sent to the corner with your Embiid aluminum foil hat on, still believing that guy's an elite guy. Great talent. This guy's got the heart. Seriously, the guy's got the heart of the 10-man. Joel 10-man Embiid. That's who he is. 10-man. Hey, is that not a good nickname? 10-man. Hey, did you see 10-man's out tonight? Hey, the 10-man's the process. What do you mean, Sells? Yeah, well, he's got no heart. He's like the 10-man. His knees are cooked. His heart was cooked when he came to the 76ers. This is actually funny. Joel the Cowardly Lion. That might be funnier. I can't play. Why? Well, it's my time of the month. Could you imagine if Embiid had half the heart of Iverson? Oh, good God. Dude, AI. Hey, intern, can you imagine if Iverson was 6'9"? Intern, I'll say this to you. If Allen Iverson was 6'9", he'd be better than Jordan. Instead of being 6 feet, if Iverson was 6'9" or 6'6", 6'7", how good do you think Iverson would be? Better than Kobe? I think so. He'd be better than Kobe. Can you imagine that guy if that dude was like as tall as Jordan at 6'6"? Shit. That guy would be unstoppable, man. He was already unstoppable. Greatest crossover of all time. Guy was a hunter at 6 feet. He may be the greatest 6-foot player in the history of the NBA. Okay? And anybody who sucks up to you is roadkill. Nobody cares about game. Hey, I'm just telling you, AI at 6'9", there wouldn't be he'd be better than LeBron. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. Bottom of the hour, Big Z. Then we will have Battle Royale at 4:30. Throw coat. Throw coat. Throw coat. That's what you got. Throw coat. Sales. They're saying it will be a 2028 first conditional and a third. That will be 2020. Get this. Here's another thing. I wrote this down. So wait a minute. You're not getting compensation for 2 Eagle teams for AJ? What are you waiting for? So your team will be older. I mean, your offensive line will be completely revamped. Here, in 2 years, say you get the AJ pick in 28. Ask yourself this. Okay. Where are the Eagles? Here we go. Is Landon Dickerson here? Wait a minute. Let's start here. Is Lane Johnson here in 2 years? Right tackle, right guard, center, left guard, left tackle. Is Lane Johnson here in 2 years and 28 when you get the AJ Brown pick? Okay, no. Okay, so no Lane. New OT. You think Steen's still the starting right guard in 2 years in the 28 draft? You think Steen's still the starter? You think Tyler Steen's still the starter? No? Okay. How many people think Cam Jurgens is a starting center in 2 years, in 28? Okay. Shit, you guys are talking about replacing him with Bell now. Okay. You think Cam will be here? Okay, I think Cam will be here too. I don't think Landon Dickerson's here in 2 years. No. New left guard. And I think Mulata will be here. So in 2 years, when you get that compensation pick of 28, your offensive line will have 3 dudes of the 5 guys out. Your football team will be completely different. And the offensive line alone. So what, 27 and 28? What are you doing there? Going O-line next year? And then O-line again? And then O-line again. Is that what we're doing? What about your running back? He won't be here in 2 years. What numbers do you need from Hurts in this offense? How about this? I need that number to be up, throwing across the middle of the field. How about this? If you didn't have 1,000-yard receiver this season, but you had 3 dudes at 750 yards, would that be a success? I think so. Because you spread the ball around. Dude, 2 years, you're getting compensation for the AJ pick. And a conditional one at best. I mean, and you got to replace a running back and 3 O-linemen in the offensive line and maybe a quarterback in 2 years. How you doing this? I'm not even going to say you're going to replace the quarterback yet. You got to replace a running back and 3 O-linemen in the next 2 years before you get to that 28 pick of AJ's. Holy cow. So your 27, your 26 and 27 team will not benefit anything losing AJ Brown. Is that right? That's pretty solid. Who made that deal? Seriously, who made that deal? Having 2 seconds in the 2027 draft, Sills, it's an easy way to replace O-line and running back. With who? Chris Cooper? Just don't think Hurts can do it. Like the kid, but just don't see it. I'm with you. And by the way, I'm not fucking waffling. I do not believe that kid will do that and make that offense look like a West Coast offense. I'm not going to waffle around here. That's not happening. I don't do my shows like that. Well, we'll see, maybe fucking they have bullshit. That's not how I operate. No one is giving up a first rounder for AJ in 27. So AJ might not be playing in 2028 either. What happened? I mean, you're wishful thinking he's out of gas. Sills with 4K, 31 Ts. Listen, how about this here, Anthony? If Hurts throws for $4,000 and 30 touchdowns and 10 picks, that'd be a great year, because that would mean that he probably threw the ball 600 plus times. And there were checkdowns, screens, sprint outs. It'd be shit like that. I also said Sam Darnold wouldn't win one. What's so bad about Cooper? Doesn't Minnesota have great tackles? Then why was he fired? If he's so great, cover, why was he fired? Why was his contract not renewed? If he's so great, same coach is there. If he's so great, why didn't they bring him back? By the way, you fired Stoutland and you got him on a no compete. He's got to sit out a year. He looked out of gas in the San Francisco. Okay, so one game. So how about when Hurts didn't complete a pass for the second half in the Bucks game? How come you don't hold him to a higher standard that you're holding AJ to? I get it wasn't a good look, but Charles, you're acting like you didn't know that guy was that guy. Didn't you read his NFL pre-draft profile? That's on you not knowing the player. That's you not knowing who he is. I'm not surprised. I read the majority of these players' pre-draft profiles. So when something rears its head, I'm not surprised. You guys are. Sills, I could see this offense falling apart and Philly might move on to McKee. I know he has 50-plus wins and a Super Bowl MVP, but something's got to give eventually, right? Like I said, dude, no quarterback in pro football this year, in this offseason, is being asked to play like Brock Purdy, but Jalen Hurts. You can't even make that make sense. AJ went all in to win Super Bowls. And since it's now me. I think Michael Irvin told you guys exactly what his problem is. His problem is this. The passing game's not A.J. Brown. The passing game's Nick Sirianni. Nick believes in a system, not running the offensive passing game through one guy. He just doesn't. Not even a quarterback. I do get angry at the organization because they knew who he was when they drafted him and what they're doing here. Yeah. Kim, why do you think they do interviews? Why do you think they have NFL profiles on all players? Good and bad. Most of the time, 95% of the time, those profiles barely change. I've done this and I'll do it one last time. Like I said, I'll do this one last time. This is in 2020. Here's Jalen Hurts. Strengths. Finished 38-4 as a record as a starter. Winning. Leadership qualities. All the shit you say today. Extremely tough, durable. Able to extend plays and big plays when he's moving. Here's his weakness. Has issues sustaining rhythm as a passer with so many off-schedule throws. Never changed. Inconsistent patience, allowing routes to develop. Has not changed. Slow recognitions of early throw opportunities. Has not changed. Leaves slants and crossovers behind targets. Has not changed. Misses checkdowns and opts for the harder throw. Has not changed. Deep arm dip. This is where I think he has changed. He's helped develop that. He's a better deep thrower. Forces speedsters at OU and Alabama to slow on deep throws and make back shoulder catches. Hasn't changed. Needs to get better at trusting in the pocket. Hasn't changed. Quick to drop his eyes when pressure mounts. Haven't changed. More likely to avoid pocket than climb. Hasn't changed. Everything I just read you was a pre-draft evaluation of Jalen Hurts. And 7 years later, All of those still exist. All of those still exist. It's not changed. Get this. And I didn't write that about him. That was the NFL draft analysis about him. All those things were written by someone else. Jaylen is the same quarterback that his profile said he was coming out of college. Exactly. He's not different. What would make you think he's going to be different in running a West Coast Sean McVay offense when he's never changed? I mean, you're the only people that look at what a guy is and project him to be something he'll never be. This is not on Jaylen. This is an organizational thing. They're going off the reservation on the kid. Every single thing that they're doing does not help him. Dude, I wouldn't have changed a goddamn thing. I would have prayed for more health, added more depth to the O-line. I would have done everything I could to improve that defense in depth. You're going to need it. Dude, Jaylen Carter or Davis, any of those guys get injured, your defense will be a fucking sieve. You don't have depth at D-tackle. Who? A 37-year-old Brandon Graham? Can I tell you why I think the Eagles are doing all this? They're sick of the Kim. Here's why they're doing this. They're sick of the razor margin that they have for error. Even in 24, they had very little room for error and margin. Even when they won it, they were historical. The Eagles had to be historical in the run game to overcome the efficiencies or the deficiencies in the passing game. They had to be historical. I mean, coat throat. There it is, right here. Coat throat. Throat coat. Way better. Way better. Johnny Mack said something today, and he kind of echoed Big Sills. So, we got quite a crew coming up here. Big Sills floating around on the throat, and Zander can't see. It's going to be a good one here, man. Don't forget, too, we got Battle Royale coming up here. By the way, Johnny Mack said something, and maybe it's delivery. Maybe the way Big Sills delivers it, because I say never. Johnny Mack kind of gives you a reporter's kind of like. Johnny Mack said, I've never seen anything where a quarterback is being asked to be Brock Purdy. I even started my freaking show off. And by the way, hey, Joe Krause Sr., let me tell you something, Junior. Embiid's a stiff. And you're right. Told his kid years ago he was a stiff. Now get this. Joel Tin Man Embiid is out for game 2. Without further ado, my boy Big Z joins us now here fresh from the eye doctor. I told you, if any eye doctor touched me, Big Z, I'd kick his ass. I can't
well, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. I got contacts in, but I'm handling it better this time, as you can see, than I did the first time around.
Was it a bad setup with the contacts the last time? Just bad contacts?
No, it was just my first time ever having them, and they just aggravated the shit out of me. So I've worn them only a couple times now, but you have to go back and get the approval from the doc. So I got my 1 dayers, and they're in. I'm good. My eyes aren't puffy, are they?
No, you look good.
How you doing with the throat coat?
Throat coat.
Throat coat.
Throat coat.
I told you that stuff is good. I didn't lead you
throat
wrong.
Coat. Throat coat. I even feel better. Throat coat.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Good.
Zander, do you believe that the 2026 Eagles locker room will be healthier without A.J. Brown in it coming up this season. Everybody likes to go to work, dude, and not have to work with a dick. And you want to be able to.
I don't think the locker room dislikes A.J. Brown. I'm not buying that. There's not a single player on the team that has ever spoken out about him. In fact, all of them have been more friendly with AJ than they are with anybody else. I mean, Cooper DeJean has more pictures, dapping up and hugging and smiling and taking photos after games with AJ Brown than he does with any other player on the team. I don't think it has anything to do with the locker room getting better. I think it has to do with simply the public and the way he handled his gripes with the offense publicly, and I think probably with the coaching staff, and maybe to some extent with the quarterback. I don't think it has anything to do with the rest of the locker room. They love it. I've heard that 100 times. McMullen told me and he said this before, and of course, buttercups, close your ears, but he said before, because I asked him this specific question, he said, if you took a poll in the locker room right now of if you did sides or whatever, all of them would be on AJ. I mean, AJ's friends with everybody in that locker room.
So is AJ the number one leader in that locker room offensively?
I don't know that he's the number one leader. I think you can like somebody and then not be a leader. Just because everybody likes you doesn't make you a leader. In fact, I actually sometimes think quite the opposite. Sometimes being a leader requires you to do things that people don't like.
Maybe that's what we're saying with AJ calling out the offense.
Well, it depends which way you look at it.
And I'm looking at it that way.
I think that's a fair way to look at it, but
because you know why, Zander? He looked at it that way to a point, so much so that coaching staff's changing the entire offensive approach.
Wow, that's a good point. But he's also the one on the way out the door.
Okay. So, who's more of a leader in your opinion? If you had to follow somebody and you were a guy in that locker room, would you follow Hurts or would you follow AJ more?
I mean, ideally, I'd like to follow them both. Do I need to pick one or the other?
Well, yeah, because one could be full of shit and the other one is going to say whatever is on his mind.
Well, I mean, I can't sniff that out without being in the locker room, but I would never go into a locker room by saying, okay, my goal is to follow one person in here and not the other. I don't think that makes sense.
Okay, well, then I'll ask you
there's 4, 5, 6 captains.
Okay, well, wait. I'll ask you a fair question then. Are you going to follow somebody that's got all your backs versus a guy that's got the organization's back?
Yeah, you're going to follow the guy who's got your back. But I don't. Do you have evidence to prove that? I assume you're insane.
Hold on, I didn't say that was in the Eagle locker room. I just asked you a question.
Yeah, well, then if that's your question, then yeah, obviously you're gonna vouch for the guy who's got the best interest of the players, or who vouches and stands up for the players. Look, I said this last year, and people didn't like it because I haven't been an AJ hater. Like I defended AJ a lot last year, to the point where many people didn't like the way
you hate his method right now.
No, I didn't like what he did in the offseason. Yeah. I didn't like what came out from Jeremy Fowler, and I didn't like the whole 4-team thing. And I just didn't. I thought I didn't have a problem with what he did in the season. In fact, if you remember, we talked about this very exact thing where I said sometimes being the leader, people will have arrows at you, because AJ's the one who's saying what maybe everybody's thinking about the offense, but nobody else is willing to say it or take the brunt of the pushback because of the way he delivered the message. So now I have no problem with the way he handled it in season in terms of, having a problem with the offense. The offense was obviously underperforming, but I didn't love the whole report that came out from Jeremy Fowler. Was it Jeremy Fowler or was it Albert Breer? It was one or the other about when he kind of separated him from Jalen Hurts. And I thought that was a little bit of a negative.
Wasn't that McClain?
No, it wasn't McClain. I think it was Albert Breer, who basically wrote that he wants to play with the high volume.
Albert Breer said that. Okay. I think AJ's going to be missed more for both leadership and also on the field more than people think. I think he's going to be missed more. All right, Z, got another one here for you. In 2024, when the Eagles were 2-2, follow me here. Guys, change in the bye, correct? If the new offense gets out to a slow start, okay, does Barkley still have enough to carry the football team?
Probably not. No, I think they got to pass more. I think teams caught up to that approach where you're just going to win on the back of Saquon. So I think they got to be more versatile this year. If you're going to take away the run, we got to be able to pass. If you're going to take away the pass, you got to be able to run. So,
how long do you think that's all that transition? New coordinator, new O-line coach, new run coordinator, new pass game coordinator. How many games are you giving it? Because last year you had 17 and you never clicked. How many are you looking at this year?
Well, it depends. What do you think last year it didn't click in 17 games because of Saquon, or do you think it didn't click because of the offensive line? Do you think it didn't click because of the passing game? What are the reasons that you don't think it clicked last year?
All of the above.
Top 2 or 3.
All of the above. I think all of the above. Player execution, player not being at the top of their game, play calling, all of it. I think all of that played. And so you're going down the same road this year in 26 that you went in 25. Never clicked in 17. So I'm asking you, is this going to be 7 games? 8 games? 11 games? 3 games? Just a curious number. What are you looking at?
For how long until they have to abort?
No, not abort. I'm coming from the positive angle. Till it clicks.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but I don't think it has that much time. You know what? I mean, this team's trying to contend for a championship.
Okay.
Presumably.
Like I said, a year ago, 17 weeks, it didn't work.
Well, I think 6 weeks you want to be fine in rhythm, but I think at the end of the day, the old Tom Brady quote of, the NFL season starts after Thanksgiving. You want to be playing your best ball late in the year. So I don't think you sound any alarms early, but you also don't want to see inept offense early, because that's what we saw last year. And, a lot of times we were like, well, they don't need to play their best ball now. They don't need to play their best ball. They don't need to play their best ball. They're still winning football games. And then ultimately when they did need to play their best ball, they couldn't play their best ball. So I think you want to see some flashes early, and you obviously got to prepare to play great late in the year. But if it looks as stale as it did early last year, I think it's going to be a big problem.
Mannion, O-line, Barkley, Hurts, going into the 26th season here, who do you think is going to succeed more? Let's go from the positive. I get accused of being a hater here. Who do you think is going to have a better year out of Mannion, O-line, Barkley, or Hurts?
Mannion, O-line, Barkley, or Hurts. The best year?
Yeah, the better of the year of
all.
How
can you pick? How can you? I mean, you can't really pick. It feels like they all tie together. Like if one of them has a great year, then Mannion's obviously going to be a winner there. But Barkley,
whoa! I never thought Kellen Moore had a spectacular year in 24.
Fuck yeah, he did.
Really?
Took an offense that couldn't throw the ball to save their life and led them to a Super Bowl.
Well, he did nothing for that quarterback in the development, and you're in the position.
And you think that? Wait, do you think that's
Kellen? You're in the position today.
Do you think that
Kellen Moore knew in 24 that guy couldn't do it?
So you think that's Kellen Moore's fault?
No, I think that's Kellen Moore's ability to go, I ain't hitching my wagon to that
guy. So
that's
a good coaching job.
I'm talking about you're in the position today because that quarterback coach and that offensive coordinator, he exposed Hurts in 24.
And to some extent, I mean, I don't think fully, but to some extent. I mean, they bailed on it after 4 games. It wasn't very long.
Well, okay, that's an even greater topic right there. Look at that, Z. Hold on. Z, so they bailed on Hurts being a passer in 24 and 4 games. You think it's 4 games again if this thing doesn't turn around?
I think it's 6.
Aha. Wait, throat coat.
I think it's 6. Yeah, be careful over there. You're starting to holler at me. That voice is hanging on for dear life over there, dude. No, you better watch it.
I'm in a good place right here, bro. All right. I want to show you a little bit of Jody Mack, Big Sills, John McMullen and me being a new type of pacifist here on the program. I'm coming at this from positive angles here. And so here are some of the words I'm going to use. Instead of calling him a stiff, which I don't believe he is.
Who, Jaylen?
Yeah, here's the challenges. I just said he's not.
Yeah, he's not.
Here's the challenges that Jalen Hurts will face with the new Sean Mannion offense. And you tell me if I'm being big sills or if I'm off the reservation. Okay? All right. That number yesterday was eye-opening and an epiphany about the 99 tosses out of 23-93. Okay, so follow me here. 99 throws, okay, in his entire career. Or was it 22?
Yeah, 22.
22 to 25. 30 or more passes. Jalen Hurts is 22-16 with 30 or more passes in his career.
Okay.
In the pocket, 2024, Hurts was 74% completion percentage. 25, he was 68-1. Out of the pocket, 24, 47.2%. 25, he was 52%. So he's basically a 50% quarterback when he's on the move. So you're not doing sprint out. And if the quarterback is not in the pocket seeing a read, you don't throw across the middle of the field. You throw to the numbers. You're not going to move the guy. Explain to me where you're going to have, here's the last topic. Where is Sean Mannion going to unlock this new powerful passing game in Philly? How is he going to unleash this new passing Jalen Hurts? With all of what he's done since 2022, he's not good outside the pocket. He takes sacks. He doesn't throw across the middle of the field. And he's 22-16 with 30 or more passes.
Well, I think it's easy. I think it's easy wins. I think they need more easy wins in the pass game.
More easy wins.
Yeah. I don't think it, necessarily means slinging the ball like a gunslinger over the middle and picking up yards like that. But I'd like to see, more mesh routes, more slant routes.
More quick slants? More
things across the middle. You got good playmakers. I mean, Devontae Smith coming across the middle is a weapon. I mean, get him open, get him in space a little bit. They got to get away from only the outside of the outside the perimeter of the field there. But I said earlier, I don't think more than 30 times is the right recipe, even with the new offense. I just think the 25 to 28 times that they do throw it, it has to be more effective. Not efficient. I think people fallen in love with this efficiency word, like in 2024, they were efficient passing, but they really fucking weren't, because when they had to pass more at a higher clip, they couldn't do it. They did in that year in the Super Bowl, obviously, but 25 rolled around and the offense, the run game got bottled up and they could never do it. So where'd that efficiency go? It went out the window. So I think they have to be capable to do it. Don't fall in love with the efficiency. It has to be effective. And I think that's where you want to be. I mean, if you can get to that point, which I don't know even what that looks like. Does that look like a little bit more yards per completion? Does it look like, a higher completion percentage? Does it look like more throws across the middle? I don't know. I'm not an expert enough to know that answer, but, we'll see.
Okay, fair enough. So here, all the new toys that Sean Mannion has, how do they fit in?
Yeah, right now it doesn't. I mean, they wouldn't fit with the previous version of this Eagles offense. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely.
So the new Mannion version, which is something we haven't seen yet and still is yet to be determined on what that looks like, but I think it fits in perfectly with what I just said. You got a guy who can win over the middle. He can line up all over the field. A lot of slot in college. Won a lot of times over the middle. You got a pass-catching tight end in Eli Stowers. My boy Rasmussen brought up the potential of 13 personnel earlier today. I thought that was interesting. John kind of shot it down, but it would make sense if they want Stowers on the field. I don't think they fit with the previous version of the Eagles offense, but is that version gone? So how do they fit now?
I think so.
I think we got to wait and see.
I think you said something today that is exactly right. Zander, I'm not are you going to go out and buy all the things to do to change every single thing that you want, the players, the coaches, and all that, and implement it 5%, 2%, 11%, 20%? Don't you agree you have to be all in on this? You're acting like you're all in. You drafted a kid in the first round. You got a kid in the second round. Basically, with your first 2 draft picks, you got pass catchers. Was that a priority on the team?
Clearly, they used assets on it.
Well, I asked you, was that a priority?
What, you getting the wide receiver and the tight end?
No. Your first 2 draft picks are like,
Yeah.
really?
I mean, obviously.
I mean, you had 11 touchdowns coming out of Goddard a year ago. I mean, you don't think safety and depth, O-line and all that? Lane Johnson? You're telling me you think
Well,
Lane
they're
Johnson?
preparing for. I mean, they had a 29-year-old wideout and a 32-year-old tight end. They drafted a wideout at tight end.
Okay, so you think the wide receiver was more of a priority than Lane?
I don't, but that's how the board fell.
So
I don't think they liked it. I don't think they liked the tackles outside of Proctor.
The board fell that
That's
way.
what I've been told. At least John said he thought
The board fell that way. The board fell.
He knew they liked Proctor, and he heard that they weren't all that infatuated with the guys that were available to them if they went up and got them. Even that includes Monroe Freeland.
I somebody asked me in Miami, like on a text message. I told the Dolphin people, you better pray Proctor turns out because you passed up on Caleb Downs and Reuben Payne. You better pray that kid Proctor.
Oh, they traded. That's right. They traded. You
better pray to God that kid turns out to be better than those 2 players, because if he's not, you passed up on 2 pretty good players. All right. Doug, so I want you to explain this to me. So you're not going to get compensation for AJ for 2 freaking years. How's that help you this year, next year?
Well, can Howie use it to trade up into next year's draft? I think the problem with that whole thing is if it falls flat, you're not positioned to go and get who you want to go and get next year if the quarterback is unable to do this and they decide to move on. I don't know if that's coming, by the way. I'm still not sold that would even happen. I mean, I think the owner loves the quarterback. I think the quarterback has, won enough in this city to have extended that olive branch a little bit to have, so I don't think he would be gone. But if let's just say they were a 25th ranked offense again and they blew the whole thing up, you're probably left struggling to go and get your quarterback because next year's such a big quarterback draft. You would assume that the quarterback needy teams won't be looking to trade for a future pick, Now, if you get a team that already has a quarterback, let's say like who would be an example of a team that has a young quarterback that they believe in but could still stink? The Raiders. Let's say the Raiders suck and they have the 3rd overall pick or whatever, and the Eagles can trade with them because they're not in the quarterback. Maybe, but you're also significantly limiting your chances there because I think all the teams at the top are going to want quarterbacks, and that could include the Raiders. We'll see how Mendoza does in year 1. So I don't know. I mean, I think Howie with a first-round pick is the right move, dude. I understand where you're coming from, but Howie's given me enough confidence with what he's done with previous first-round picks. I mean, he got a first-round pick for Wentz or somebody. I forget who it was, and traded back with Devontae, picked up another first in the future. He shakes and bakes. So if you give him the assets, I think he'll do what's necessary for the team, but it's certainly not as good as a 27 first-round pick. I agree with that, obviously. So, but what would you rather get? Would you rather get a 2 and a 3 in 27 or a 1 and a 2, but the 1 is in 28?
See, I think the draft is going to be exceptionally packed in 28 because all those kids from those nil years are going to pile up, and that's going to be a deep draft. Like guys who went in the second round this year, okay, those guys may go in the third and fourth round, and you're going to get really good players, I think, at 28. Do you agree? Next 2 years, and this goes along with this pick. You think you're going to change out 3 offensive linemen and a running back in the next 2 years?
How many offensive linemen?
3.
That feels a lot.
Well,
Lane,
I got people telling me Markel Bell's going to start at right guard this year.
Well, Steen has been rotated. The right guard has been a rotating position. Lane's going to hang him up, so that's 2.
And Landon.
Probably Landon, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure yet. Let's see what Landon.
Well, no, when I'm asking about this pick, you think the running back will be here in 28?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you're talking about replacing potentially 2 to 3 O linemen and a running back in 2 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, are we putting are we putting it all too early though? Like, I understand your point, but the Eagles have shown that they have methods, and sometimes unconventional methods, to acquire players to address needs. A couple years ago, Sileo, I'll remind you, 2 years ago, the Philadelphia Eagles were a cornerback depleted team after Darius Slay. Now all of a sudden we are a cornerback rich team. 4 years ago, before Devontae Smith, we were a wide receiver starved team. Now we are so much wide receiver abundance we can trade away AJ Brown. I mean, I think I get your point, but Howie to me has always been one step ahead, and that's why when you bring up topics like this, not to say the topic's not relevant, it's just I don't concern myself with it as much as some other teams might, because Howie has such a good track record at addressing things at the right time, at the necessary time, and to get the guys they need in the building to be able to compete. So I get your point, but
okay, well,
Howie will be able to make it happen, dude.
Okay, well, has environment changed now? With every stock, you always look at not just the production and the evaluation of a stock. You're looking at the country's environment, stock market, the economy. You're looking at what that widget is supposedly going to do when it gets out into the open market. Does like trends, the oil crisis, all the things that come around a stock. When I worked at Wall Street, you had to just take a stock because Sarah Lee could go up and down because of the environment it's in. The environment you're in now is changing the offense, a new coordinator, a quarterback who's being asked to be Brock Purdy, and so many other different variables. Before, you know what the variable was? Shit. Get a coordinator in. We're going to keep running the same kind of bullshit, and we're going to run the same thing here. Now you're asking for more change. You're adding more change on, and you're losing top flight front office personnel on top of all of this change. You don't think the environment in the Eagle organization's changed a little bit?
Well, it is changing, but can I present you with another point here that I think it actually might help to have to replace some of those guys? Because the defense is about to get paid for Quinion, for Cooper, for Jaylen Carter. Jordan Davis already got paid.
I got a problem with that, and I'm going to tell you in a second, but please continue.
But my point is, with all of these defensive contracts coming, you can't pay everybody on the offense too. So does the money shift a little bit, and maybe getting some leeway, getting some cheaper players, a running back on a rookie deal instead of $21 million, a right tackle back on a rookie deal instead of $25 million, a left guard back on a rookie deal instead of $21 million. I mean, that right there is $65-70 million of just, if we have cheaper rookie contracts right there, that allows us to pay Cooper and Quinion. Now, that doesn't mean your players are going to be as good. You have to draft right. You got to make a lot of right decisions, but I think that's kind of inevitably coming anyway, dude. I mean, you're either going to keep the revolving door on defense, Hills, and you're going to let a lot of you think we're mad about losing Milton Williams and Josh Sweat? Well, you wait. I mean, if they don't adjust for this upcoming defensive contracts, you're going to be watching Cooper and Quinion walk out of here or Carter walk out of here. Nobody wants to see that. So you got to make the right moves. And look, it is a tough needle to thread. There's no doubt. I mean, this is not an easy roster to maintain for this team. But I do feel like they got the best GM in the business that's going to be able to do it. So that's where my confidence, or at least my optimism, comes for that.
Okay. You don't believe last year's defense was as good, obviously, as the 24 defense, right?
No, it wasn't. It was good, but it wasn't that good.
Do you believe this defense that you got coming in is going to be better or as good as the 24 defense?
And that's tough, but I'd say they're going to be as good or better than they were last year.
Okay. So you believe in doing this, or if you do, you're going to sign Cooper, Q, give Davis that contract, praying that he's going to become a 3-down guy, and Carter at the expense of getting rid of 7 players over the last 2 years. Slay, Williams, Sweat, Ajomo, Dean. All those guys have been lost. You're not signing Ajomo, dude.
Well, I think 100% if Carter gets signed. But do you think the Eagles are considering a world where they look to pick up a first-round pick for Carter and pay Ajomo $24 million? You're going to save $12 million.
I'm trying to make is, would you rather have a balanced unit?
Yeah, right.
Or would you rather have a top heavy unit with 4 guys getting a lot of money and the other guys because you can't pay everything?
It's hard, dude. It's hard because I agree with you, but you also don't want to just go too middle.
No.
Like,
I'm asking.
You know what I mean? Like, you need great players. I do wonder if the Eagles are thinking about Carter. Because you heard the rumblings about him being involved in the Micah Parsons trade. You heard lesser but smaller rumblings about him involved in a was it Max Crosby trade?
And Garrett,
that's what it was. It was the Garrett trade. I do wonder. Like, do you rather get a first-round pick and maybe 2 first-round? I doubt that, but 1 first-round pick and a 2 or a 3. So that's 2 premium picks to get cheaper players on rookie contracts. You pay Ajomo, you're probably going to save $10 to $15 million there on that contract. You have Ajomo and Davis on your interior. You have your edge rushers. Are the Eagles considering that? I'm not saying I would do it. I would pay Carter. But I do wonder how he's thinking about that, because asset allocation is going to be seriously important here. I mean, it's going to be make or break the team.
Don't you agree that the roster is top heavy? And what I mean by that is all your money's on one side of the ball right now. And they're trying to create some balance. I think one of the golden nuggets and one of the hidden gems of the Patriots dynasty, Zander, I think it was the fact that they never paid anybody. And they had a quarterback, obviously, in Brady that could cover some of the deficiencies on the team. It's exactly what they're doing in Kansas City. Getting rid of Snead, getting rid of Honey Badger, getting rid of guys because the quarterback could cover. Well, the quarterback's gotten older now, right? They got to kind of retool a little bit more there in KC.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you want to pay 4 guys at the expense of 7 on your defense.
Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, you know, sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Help me out here. Help me out in Seattle. Who's a high-paid guy in Seattle's defense?
Yeah, but that's early in their explosion. I think a better comp would be Kansas City. I mean, they've traded away. How many guys have they traded away?
Tons. Snead.
And has that now bit them? They didn't even make the fucking playoffs last year.
But I'll take 2 down years to win 3 Super Bowls and retool.
Yeah, but is that because of the roster construction, or is that because fucking Patrick Mahomes is?
That's also because things have. Hey, Zander, things have an expiration date.
I know, but I think there's a fine line, and walking the fine line is hard, and that's what makes great GMs. But if you're gonna overspend or keep everybody, maybe you're right. Now your depth sucks, and if one injury goes wrong, your team is cooked. Or you get rid of the best players, and now you have just a mediocre football team.
Do you know what I loved watching this last year? I loved watching the Patriots struggle for 3 years after having 19 years of dominance and get back to a Super Bowl. That's fucking unbelievably great.
Dude.
No, it's May.
Well,
I'm talking about an organization that did 3 shitty years and got back to the game.
Well,
I mean, dude,
that's
that's
how
how
this year. I mean,
he's been to 12 of them.
statistics would say he's not going to get back. He
Okay.
might. I'm just saying, when Jalen Hurts lost the
He's
first
been to
Super Bowl,
30% of the Super Bowls since he owned a team.
that's Kraft. I'm talking about Drake May. When Jalen Hurts made his first Super Bowl,
Kraft's the organization, though, dude.
I know, but I mean, he can't play the game.
Zander, my point is, what I loved watching is that no matter if
You've
it's
shifted. In the last 5 years, you have drastically shifted.
What?
And you used to say, I'm not giving the fucking suits all the credit for success on the football field. Now you're out here telling me it's all about the owners and the general managers and all the players can be interchanged.
Okay, wait a minute. You're right. This is an anomaly. He took a team with Bledsoe and Parcells and then Belichick and Brady and now with Vrabel and May. That's just an anomaly.
He's an outlier.
That's a great organization, man. Is it not?
I'm not saying they're not a good organization.
If we're going to give Howie roses for getting back,
I'm just saying, I'm not going to sit here and say that Robert Kraft is the reason that Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls. I'm not saying.
Okay. Well, then what's the reason for them to get to 12 with 3 different quarterbacks and 3 different head coaches?
He's a part of it for sure.
So then Howie's not either then, right?
Boy, Jeffrey Lurie's got to tune on this segment. He's loving it. No, Jeffrey
saying,
Lurie might be giving Sileo a credential after this segment.
Then Howie shouldn't get that. Then
Jeffrey Lurie's giving Sileo a credential, baby.
That's a bullshit take by you. Because listen, if you wait, so then Howie shouldn't get the credit. If the organization shouldn't get the credit, Howie shouldn't get the credit. Because Howie went to 2 Super Bowls with 2 different guys too.
I think both get the credit. But I'll say this: I don't think Howie's getting any credit if it's not for what the players do on the field. Now he did a good job assembling the players, but you can assemble great players, and that doesn't always mean they're going to go out and win the games you need them to win. This is where I give Nick a little more credit, just to be clear. It's one thing to assemble a roster. It's one thing to have talent. It's another thing to get that roster to play and do what they need to do to go the distance,
Do you think that John Schneider's done a good job getting the 3 Super Bowls?
Hell yeah. He's a great GM. Yep.
3 different dudes.
Yeah, he's good. Very good GM. I happen to think that Pete Carroll was a big part of their success. Obviously, Russell Wilson was a great player at the time. Obviously the Legion of Doom on defense. Obviously had Marshawn Lynch. I mean, they had some fucking dudes. It's a team effort, dude.
Okay.
Always.
Who gets the credit for this Super Bowl?
Who, for the Eagles?
None of those guys are there anymore.
Well, I think that was a really good job by Schneider. I do. I think it was a really good job by Schneider. But I'll say this: I think Mike McDonald deserves a lot of credit. And I also think Sam Darnold, he was more pedestrian this year than he was. Kubiak too. He was more pedestrian this year than he was with the Vikings the year prior when they won 14 games, but he did his part. So I think it's a team effort. It's always a sliding. It's always a weighted scale, right? And certain guys are going to weight differently in different years, obviously. But overall, I think it was more a team effort again.
Z, you said something, dude. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think that they've really thought about trading Jaylen Carter?
They definitely thought about it.
You think it's 20%? Would that be a number?
It's confirmed they offered him for Michael Parsons. Confirmed. They offered him for Michael Parsons. That was a year ago when he was before.
We're talking about Parsons, and we're not talking about Crosby. That's
but here's the further context. That was before this season, where Jaylen Carter didn't log a great year, and after he logged a tremendous year in 24. So if they were thinking about trading him after his best season,
that's right. That's the summer.
How are they not thinking about it after a down year for him with injury concerns, shoulder concerns, and some of those things? I think a lot of the PR that Jaylen Carter's doing, and I got no problem with him doing it. Obviously, you want everybody to know it's a business. You're trying to maximize your contract and your earnings. But I happen to think that PR is done from Drew Rosenhaus, not for the Eagles, for the rest of the league. Because if it does get to a point where you're trading, the Eagles are going to want a hefty return. You're going to want to prove to teams that your player is worth trading for. Or if the Eagles aren't going to pay him, you're going to want to prove that, he's a player worth paying. Eagles are a good organization. If they're not willing to pay Jaylen Carter, that will raise red flags for other teams around the league. That doesn't mean that nobody will pay him. That's not what I'm saying. But you just brought up John Schneider. John Schneider might look at that and say, wait a second. Howie Roseman drafts a guy with 9th overall. He dominates, makes an all-pro, and he doesn't want to give him the contract? Something's wrong there. Remember, this is an organization that just had 4 dudes draft to Philadelphia and retire in Philadelphia. I don't know another team in the league right now that has 4 guys in recent memory that drafted and retired with their program.
Next year, would you trade Jaylen Carter to the Miami Dolphins and another in your first-round pick for the number 1 overall pick?
Depends. Depends what the team looks like this year. If it's an offensive.
Get Arch Manning.
I don't like Arch Manning, but at least right now, I don't like what I've seen from him in terms of turning an NFL organization around.
Listen, I agree with you because I don't see it.
He will. You're right, though. He will get boosted up.
Do you agree? You and me love college football. Have you seen a guy in the game that will be like a trend-setting guy in the next 2 years where you went like this? That guy is a generational quarterback coming out. Like when you saw Joe Burrow play at LSU, you went like this. Holy shit, this guy.
Yeah, but remember Burrow. It's a good point by you, but remember, that was like his 4th or 5th year, I think, in college.
And remember what people said about him. Guys got Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. How are you not good?
Well, like the only quarterback I think that maybe has that type of potential right now would probably be the Ohio State kid.
Saying?
Yeah. Now he is not there yet.
No.
But again, was he a rookie or freshman last year? That's a young dude, man. Joe Burrow was battling in backup trenches at that time.
He got beat out in Ohio State.
Yeah. So I'm just saying,
like Justin Fields.
There's a lot of time here for some of these guys.
Hey, he got beat up by Justin Fields.
I know. Fields was a first-round draft pick.
Fields got transferred from Georgia to Ohio State, if you remember.
I'm not huge on Dante Moore. Trinidad I like, but
how about the kid Sellers at South Carolina?
Yeah, people are trying to sell me on him. I like him, but
my question is Cam Newton.
Yeah, when the athleticism dwindles, what's it look like?
Donovan late.
I told you yesterday, and this is my take, and I don't expect everybody or maybe even anybody to agree with it, but this is my perspective. And if I was a GM of a football team, which I'm not, I would want the first trait that I'm looking for, that you are a prolific passer of the football. If you can't jump a stack of quarters, that's not ideal. If you can process and you can throw, and those are the 2 things that wow me on the tape, that's a quarterback that I want to get more information on. If your first 3 things have nothing to do with throwing the ball, I'm not saying there's not a place for you. I'm sure somebody will draft you. It's not the type of quarterback I would want. I think Drake May is a great middle because Drake May climbs the pocket and does have escapability. He's not an athletic stooge, but his primary skill set is the way he's able to step up in the pocket and deliver the football. His processing ability, his arm talent, his throwing with pressure in his face. Those are the things that I think will lend to a great long-term career for a franchise quarterback. I might not be right, but that's what I think.
Here's to me the prototypical quarterback in the NFL today that I would want in my huddle. I don't think I've ever said this to you guys. And here's why. I'd want Justin Herbert. And here's why. Justin Herbert, the Chargers did him such a disservice by putting Brandon Staley in that room with him his first couple of years. That was fucking terrible. So what did they do? They went out and got one of the better coaches in Harbaugh. What did Harbaugh do? He limited his throws. He created a run game. He wanted to take some of that pressure off his ass so that they could run the ball. And they started doing that. What have they done also? They've brought in, what's his name? Mike McDaniels. They got him in there creating pass routes for wideouts. I mean, that's an organization that failed Dan Fouts, Philip Rivers. They've got to get better coaches around.
Where you're right is Herbert's arm talent is fucking crazy.
And he's got escapability.
Yes, he's got great. Remember, he gashed us for 70 yards, I think, on the ground.
By the way, I think he's 2-0 versus the Eagles or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, let me just point something out here. Selva says there's more mobile quarterbacks in the playoffs than So you missed what I said, Selva. I didn't say I don't want a mobile quarterback.
yeah,
I
you
said
gotta have
I want their
mobility.
first trait. When Jalen Hurts got drafted here, Sileo used to
Processing.
ask the question, what are the traits that you like? And they
Processing.
were all the intangibles and the mobile. You look at the playoffs. Let's take a look right now at the final 8 teams of the playoffs. All right. Chicago and LA. Obviously, Stafford's not mobile. And Caleb Williams, if you're under the belief that Caleb Williams was drafted because he's mobile, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn, my friend. No shot. That dude was drafted because of his fucking crazy arm talent. Let's go to the other 2. San Francisco and Seattle. No mobile there. Let's go to New England and Houston. Drake May, great example of a guy who's got escapability, but primarily is great with the arm, is great arm talent.
Downfield.
Houston, CJ Stroud, again, mobile, not really the first selling point. And then go to Denver and Buffalo. Both quarterbacks that can move, that can run, that can escape, but certainly is not the only thing they have in the tool chest. And Josh Allen, you could argue, is one of the better arms in all of the National Football League. So,
and I think, to your point about Allen and Lamar, I think their processing struggles a bit.
Yeah, but Allen's a better processor than Lamar, and
But
he struggles too.
But I think Jalen processes some things with limited talent and sees the game better than those 2 guys.
Yeah, but still, remember why Josh Allen was drafted as a top 10 player.
I know
it's not because he could run.
No, but he's one of the most talented players of all time, and it's the same arm talent. I'm going to tell you what Bill Walsh told me years ago, because I didn't know what he looked at in a quarterback. You know what he said? Exactly what you said. He went like this. He goes, if a quarterback has great feet, it gets back into his steps. What does that allow him to do? It allows him to process the field. And those guys who can see the field and process defenses, those are the guys. You can have a limited arm like Montana or Manning. You can not have, you become an anticipation thrower. Brady became an anticipation thrower. He wasn't a big arm guy, Zander. He was a check down guy. Manning wasn't.
He wasn't a big arm guy, but he was a processor.
Yeah, but to your point, guys running 4.4s, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it is a new. I will say it's a new era of football. You want to be, obviously, have some escapability, but you don't need it. I mean, Matthew Stafford's not running, folks. He was the best quarterback in the National Football League last year.
What do you make of Dak?
I think Dak kind of fits the mold. That's why I like Dak. Everybody gets mad at me for liking Dak. I like Dak. I mean, if I don't think he's done everything right, that's not what I'm saying. I think he's got to be better in the big moments, but the dude's got a great arm. He's tremendously accurate. He's a great processor. He knows where to go with the football. Does he have some turnovers? Yeah, he throws the ball like 40 times a game, and he can kind of move a little bit. I think Dak fits the bill on the type of dude you want.
Absolutely. The problem, Dak struggles in tighter windows. And in the postseason, you get tighter windows with better coordinators. And look at CJ Stroud, for instance. I know you hammered him. Okay. I want to make a point about Stroud to you before you read some of the supers here. Here, I want to. Okay. CJ Stroud, 2026 NFL playoffs. Okay. So I want to show you this, Zander. When you say this about Stroud. Okay. So in the playoffs, the Texans offense played against the number 2 defense in the NFL in the Broncos, the number 5 defense in the Chargers, the number 6 defense in the Seahawks, and the number 8 in the Bills. I mean, dude, they played against 5 of the top-rated defenses in pro football in the playoffs, did Stroud. He wasn't playing against a beat-up 49er team. He was playing against, like, top 5 defenses. Yes, did he struggle? Yes. However, we're not talking about some stupid defenses and a makeshift defense that Hurts struggled against when it came to the 49ers. They had a practice squad out there.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. There were some good defenses he played. Yeah, Eagles got beat by a backup 49er squad. I mean, come on. That was horrible.
You think
Again,
the 49ers,
people have selective memory, so they choose to not remember some of these things. But
hey, that comment that John made, what'd you make of it when he said that? Because we've been saying this the whole time.
Which one?
When he goes like this, he goes, Hurts is the only quarterback in the NFL that's being asked to play like Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't it kind of make sense to what I just said about why I'm scouting quarterbacks differently now? I mean, Jalen Hurts has literally achieved the pinnacle of what any dual threat quarterback out there could ever dream of achieving. Literally. That is what Jalen Hurts' trophy case showcases. And the Eagles are still doing everything they can to force him to be a quarterback that he's not.
I just don't.
They have every bit of success, and they still won't commit to his style. Still.
I don't get it. That is a great take. The Eagles are not committed to Hurts.
Yes. No, they're not committed. They're committed. I think they're committed to the guy. They're not committed to his style of play.
Yep.
Which could eventually
is that Nick or the owner?
That's the $1 million question that I've asked John, and he doesn't know the answer to. Why they're changing this offense. He thinks it's Nick because of his political nature, knowing what the owner wants. In other words, if Nick was free from any influences, he wouldn't make this decision. But knowing who he works for, he did make this decision.
So Nick, against his better judgment as being a coach.
Well,
who's in more danger then of losing their job? Nick or Hurts?
Not Nick. It's easier to fire.
So if Nick goes along with the head with the owner and what the owner wants and it doesn't work, that's Nick's fault. When Nick proved his style,
Nick's trying to thread the political needle here, so it's tough.
Man. Let's read some of these supers. We got Battle Royale coming up.
Here's Steve. What's up?
We all agree on one thing, right? This makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense on the surface, but if I don't know, I can't say that yet because I don't exactly know what kind of offense they're going to run. Like I'm expecting more of a hybrid approach. I'm not expecting a full West Coast. I'm expecting taking what the Eagles do well, figuring out how to get the run game going, and then for the 25 to 30 times you do throw the ball in the game, you have to be more effective, not efficient. Forget that efficiency bullshit word that everybody has grasped onto because he threw for 74%. When they needed to throw the ball, they couldn't. That's what I care about. You need effective throwing of the football for those 25 to 30 attempts in the game. Is it short passes? Is it getting the ball to your playmakers in space? Is it slants over the middle? Is it mesh routes? Is it Mekhi Lemon in the middle of the field? Is it Dallas Goedert? Who knows what it's going to be? But it got to be more effective. That's how I see it.
I'll tell you something with Mark Holmes in the green room here.
Don't do me a favor. Don't tell him what I said about Dak unless he was listening.
No, listen. I'll tell you what. Well, I don't
need to give him ammo. He's got plenty of his own over there.
Bro, Dak Prescott's probably the best thrower in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. Of any quarterback ever played, including Staubach.
I don't think that's crazy. All right, here we go. Steve says, if you guys are cool with Gate City Sports, you should have him on your show. He's on YouTube like you guys. Does really good analysis on football and the Eagles. I know of Gate City. I've never talked to him or anything, but I would get him on. I'm good with that.
Sure we would.
I like him. I don't know him personally, though, Steve.
That's how I got Mark Holmes sitting in his mom's basement in his underwear, if you remember.
You guys ever heard of same thing. You guys ever heard of Gate City? He did a great breakdown of Hurts and how they'll probably use him in regards to the system they will use. Interesting. I'll check it out.
Okay.
Kimberly says, go ahead, Sills. What are we going to say?
No, I say that's cool. We will have him on.
Kimberly says, I see a team stepping in and sideswiping the Patriots.
Like for AJ.
Yeah, I could see that too. Mr. Hill says,
"Bro, I could see Kansas City getting in there in that mix."
Me too. Mr. Hill says, "I thought they were going to be in the mix, but then they used both their first round picks, and that kind of made me change a little bit. I thought they were going to maybe use one of those first round picks, but Mr. Hill says, how much will they utilize Tank? He is younger and showed good flashes. Probably not much. When you're paying a running back $22 million, Mr. Hill, there's some political decisions that have to be made, my friend.
Correct. Yeah. You pay him, you play him.
Jeffrey, we just stroked a check for 22 M's to the Saquon, but we're going to put him on the bench for Tank Bigsby.
Yeah. No.
Kimberly says, are we getting Sills out of the Batcave for the opener? Good luck, Kimberly. Kimberly says, John Clark Coop interview told me all. AJ is loved. Yeah, Cooper loves AJ.
You're going to really miss that guy as a leader.
Who, AJ?
Yeah, Eagles are going to miss him.
What? You were calling him AJ Owens for 4 years.
Absolutely.
Now you're saying we're going to miss him as a leader?
It doesn't mean – well, everyone loves him.
Here's David Selbo. Sills, don't lie about the throat coat. We know you had a couple chimichangas and washed it down with Coca-Cola Corona. Don't lie to us, Jabroni.
Nope.
Wait, I do have to say something to you. Somebody brought this up this morning, and they said, "Hey Zander, I think you got played like a fiddle yesterday. Tell me how the guy, the Corona King, on Cinco de Mayo can't talk all of a sudden and needs a half day on Cinco de Mayo.
No,
yo, Zay, you got played." I said,
no
"Oh
way.
shit,
I didn't
think about that."
I didn't even do the Tampa show this morning. That didn't work. That's not how that worked out. No way. I saved my voice.
Played me like a fiddle.
No, get this. You want to hear this though? Here, let me read you something here, folks.
Yeah, it was Fleming. There you go. It was Fleming.
No. You want to hear the bullshit that I get sometimes? So let me tell you what I get here. Here it is. What says? Hey, I got this from Joe Krause. Are we on half days in May? And I'm going like, Jesus Christ. I didn't even answer.
I don't even talk to him. He just looks at the shows and he sees that it was 2 hours long and he fucking roasts.
What are we on half days? It's May, huh? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
We should have the chat take their bets now. Sileo has received his wedding invitation. Will he be present at the Big Z wedding? I do not know.
Wait a minute. Wait, what kind of food you got?
Yeah, we got food. It's a good wedding.
Seafood?
Yep. One of the entrees is you should see it on your invite. The Chilean sea bass. It's good. It's real good.
Oof. That sounds good, man.
We'll see.
I gotta come up.
I told them all, no pressure. I'm not gonna hold it against them if he doesn't.
No, the problem is that I love this guy.
Yeah, that's all right.
No.
You gotta fly across the country. It's not cheap.
You know how many people I like in the world? You know, it's not many.
I know, but I also understand. You know,
We'll see.
Flying across the country, gas prices are what everything is up right now. So I get it.
Come on, Trump.
All right, so good show, man. I'm looking forward to the Battle Royale.
You think the Cowboys?
Oh shit, Philly 500. Is that a light blue eagle lid? Dude, I gotta get myself one of those. Light blue and gold, it looks like. Damn, that is.
He's got some great lids.
He's got the greatest eagle lids, dude. The guy deserves credit for his eagle lid.
So what? So wait, Mark's got the shirts and Philly's got the lids.
Yeah, but the difference is the thing about Philly 500's hats is they all look pristine. You know, like when you get a hat.
Oh no, he wears
it's not so worn in that it looks like it's been like Philly's hats the brims are good, the quality. Mark's hats kind of look like they've been through the washer machine like 48 times. Like, you know, they're not the same. So
hey, wait. One thing about Philly, though, man, he wears that flat brim like a Guinea or a Puerto Rican or a Mexican guy. So good, man. Just a flat
yeah,
brim.
Right.
He wears that thing good.
All right,
man.
get me out of here. I got to get these.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so
much.
Later. You got it, man. We'll catch you in the morning. Birds 365. Dak Prescott will go down as the greatest passer in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, with the best arm in the history of the Cowboys. Unfortunately, Mark is going to have to come up with, hey, I'll tell you what, we're getting close. We're getting close to where, does he go down as Phillip Rivers? Phillip Rivers is going to Hall of Fame, you know. Is Dak Prescott Tony Romo? Okay. And now Jalen Hurts. Here's one here for you. So they're changing the entire offense. Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback in pro football in this league right now that an organization is asking him to play like Brock Purdy. Throw the ball around, spread it around. All these new toys that they've given him. What will be, without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, the great Dallas Cowboy content creator, our friend Mark Holmes, and the legend himself with these lids, my friend, Philly 500.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How you boys
What's
doing,
going
man?
on?
Doing good, man. How are you?
All good. You tell me, what's the shirt rep? What's it represent here, man? Yeah.
Well, first of all, he's right. I do wear my stuff out because I got no fear of Eagle fans, man. I go out here. I reap the Dallas Cowboys every single day. Unlike, Philly 500, he's kind of hiding out there in Cali and not letting too many people know that he's an Eagle fan.
Everybody knows who I am. Here's the thing: is you're stuck in like the woods of what, Virginia mountains, with your little red house. Nobody sees
not
you.
Always here.
Nobody sees you. You're in hiding. I'm out every day. You're in hiding. I'm out every day. I just came out from the outside. Where you been? You've been in your little backyard, sitting on your little porch, talking about Dak Prescott, making Dak Prescott videos.
No, I don't have to talk about Dak Prescott because apparently Dan and Zander are holding it up for Dak Prescott. I missed whatever Zander said about Dak. Can you refresh that for me?
Nah, I'm not going to go back on it because, again, Zander gets a lot of hate mail if he says that.
Oh.
He's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay, so
you're not going to tell us that.
He is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
at least now we're getting a team that's better around him too.
I think I'm going to show up at Sill's house one day. I'm just going to pull
great.
That's when you're going to see him.
Look, Xander, show up.
Xander, he loves you. He ain't going to a wedding, bro. He's not leaving his
show
house.
up. I'm just going to show up.
Mark, I want to throw this at you here with Jalen Hurts, and then I want Philly to respond. So, out of 2,393 passing attempts, since 2022, Jalen Hurts has thrown the ball across the middle of the field 99 times.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady has just as many throws across the middle of the field, and he retired 2 years ago. Here's another one.
Wait. Tom Brady has just as many, and he
across
retired
the
2 years
middle of
ago.
the field.
But he played how long? How long did Tom Brady play?
This is since 2022.
Oh, okay, 2020. Okay,
yeah,
fair.
Okay, he retired 3 years ago, 2 years ago. So 3 years ago. So here's another one. When Hurts throws the ball 30 or more times, he's 22-16. Here's another one. Hurts in the pocket, and 74% completion percentage, which is great. 25, he's 68%. Outside the pocket, Hurts in 2024 is 47.2. In 2025, he's 52.6. How in the world are they going to implement all these new pieces when the guy doesn't throw across the middle and he only throws to the numbers, and when he gets outside the pocket, he's ineffective? How are they going to – you just drafted two guys, first-round pick and a second-round pick. You traded a couple years ago for AJ. You gave up a 1 for him. You got Devontae. All these assets. How are they going to change this? How is Sean Mannion going to fit all these new pieces into this new offense with a guy that's either he's limited or the coaches don't want him to do it? I don't know. Or both can be true. I don't know. How are they going to improve this passing game?
This is actually deja vu here because Philly 500 and I have been friends for a long time. And I can remember after they got rid of Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts was going to be the starter. And Philly 500 was like, I don't know if this is the guy or not. He said, but, we've got some first-round picks. We can go for another guy. But what the Eagles did was they went out there and they did everything they could to make him successful, getting A.J. Brown, getting a running game going. They ended up saying, we're going to make him successful with what he has. This is the polar opposite of it. It's almost like you're kind of setting him up to fail. You're going to have a West Coast offense, which is predicated a lot of it down the middle of the field. I believe most of the quarterbacks in the NFL throw across the middle over 52% of the time.
He never threw in college across the middle of the field.
You are definitely setting them up to fail more than you are to succeed.
Why, Philly, why aren't they doing more to help the QB and doing more to help Nick? All the personnel they're hiring and everything they're doing, let's just say he can do it. He hasn't in 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, how is this going to work?
Well, I think that goes back to coaching and development.
Okay.
Because why would you not, as a coach, why would you not want to continue to develop your player? One of my criticisms of Nick is it seems like there was a point, and maybe it was after Steichen, where they went from trying to develop Jalen Hurts and continually talking about him getting better and better as a quarterback to let's just do what he does best. And I think that at times that doesn't help you because you got to do things, that you feel comfortable with, and maybe he feels uncomfortable with to get better at it. But what I think that this tells us is with the new coaching staff and the way they look at it, I think it tells you they think he can do it. They just have really let him down in getting him to develop in that area. And that's where I think that he's going to surprise people because I think he can throw over the middle. I just don't think they didn't really want him to do certain things that were risky. I mean, how many times have we talked about Nick Sirianni saying, you don't turn over the ball, we're 42-1 if we win the turnover battle. They're telling this guy 10-0 not to turn the ball over. Just throw it away. Just get rid of it. Don't take any chances. Don't throw it in a tight window. I think a lot of it, and I'm not saying all of it, but I think a lot of it has to do with the coaching and not developing the player.
Well, then why in God's name would you deviate off that? Why would you go like, and then why not this one too, Philly? Well, then why not get a more seasoned play caller then? If you're going to make all these moves.
That's where I think the risk comes in offensively this year, right? The guy that they hired, I think their intentions were to get a play caller with a track record. I think that's what they wanted to do, but I think they were so impressed with this guy, they took the chance. So now we're going to see if he can develop him. But I think that the Eagles, I think they let him down in that area. Do you remember when when they would talk about Hurts, it was like, they would talk about how when he goes to his right and bails, the play is over, and that they continuously get on him and work with him about stepping up in the pocket, that he has more time. Where did that go? All of a sudden, that conversation ended, and he went right back to it, and they were okay with it. So I feel like, I think the risk is that you have a coordinator that doesn't have a lot of experience, and we're going to see if he can do it. But I think the reason that they're doing it now is because they were doing previously wasn't working. It was everybody knew it was coming. Everybody knew where he's going to throw it. And this is the only way for him to take another step and for that offense to be somewhat unpredictable, I feel.
Mark, for the Cowboys here, how dangerous is it? Or do you think it's a good thing that the Cowboys look like they have a battle going on at offensive tackle now? I mean, I mean, you don't want what I wouldn't want for Dak with high volume like that. I don't want my quarterback like that I need him in there to get hit upside the backside of the head and have him take it out like that. I mean, is this a good thing that there's a battle at offensive tackle?
Yes, and I would also look at signing a veteran there too, because that is the least experienced situation you have right there. Tyler Guyton, of course, was a first-round pick, but has been injured, almost as much as he's actually played. Big Nate showed some promise. Big Nate was scheduled to actually be the starter last year, until he ended up breaking a bone in his freaking neck. So yeah, there is not a lot of experience there on the left tackle, and I would love to actually see them have another veteran presence in there to try and lead the way on it. But even with that, last year we still did pretty good, even with the lack of experience there.
2 questions about both your locker rooms. Do you think the noise out of the locker room has led to a healthier environment in Dallas without the Micah Parsons noise?
Oh, without a doubt. The only noise that you actually get with the Cowboys is not from the locker room. It's the talking heads. They tried to make more about George Pickens, that George Pickens is toxic. George Pickens isn't going to show up. George Pickens signing the tag basically gives the Cowboys all the juice and all the leverage over him. He's got to show up now for training camp. And so you're looking at a group that, Brian Schottenheimer preached culture. They pretty much gotten rid of between Diggs and Micah Parsons. Those were the 2 guys that you ended up getting a lot of discontent in there. Now, will it end up leading to more victories? Time will tell.
A.J. Brown not being in the locker room, do you think it becomes a healthier environment? Let's look at a positive here. I mean, you don't have all that noise. You don't have any of that. However, here's the one thing that I'll add, and you tell me. I mean, at the end of the day here, though, dude, I've never heard a player in the Eagles ever coming out saying AJ's wrong. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's my issue when we hear about, well, he's a cancer room problem in the locker room, is this, that. How come every player seems to love him? I mean, they absolutely seem to love AJ Brown. They seem to respect him. So I don't know. I don't know if it is everything that they act like it is. I feel like AJ Brown wants out because he thinks it's better for him in his career. But I don't feel like there's animosity there with the front office like there was maybe with Owens and stuff like that. So I think it's a bit overdone.
Can I interject?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the polar opposite of where we were with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons had thrown a lot of guys under the bus. You had people that were speaking out about him, including the organization themselves, saying they're getting kind of tired of his stick. And so you didn't have everybody kind of upset so much that Micah Parsons was gone. In fact, I think it actually calmed everybody down. I think that's the opposite that you have. You may end up having now the locker room becoming us against ownership because they got rid of somebody we really like.
Don't you agree that when you watch Micah Parsons, though, I see Micah Parsons kind of like CJ Garner. CJ Garner was butthurt that he was no longer an Eagle, and he's chirping at the organization. I mean, Micah Parsons plays with the Packers. Why is he still fucking barking at the Cowboys? I mean, this guy really wishes he was still a Cowboy.
He still lives in Dallas, and he's still, I got nothing but love for fucking CD and everything. Because there's nothing in Green Bay to do. What are you going to do in freaking Green Bay?
Yeah, I'm not moving from the place that got rid of me. That's not happening.
He's still in Dallas. He's still hanging out with the Cowboys.
You're like Carson Wentz living near the NovaCare Center. I mean,
that ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, right? That's not. Hey, real quick for you, McCoy's knee for the Cowboys. How are they looking at that? Are you concerned about that? Your corner.
I think he's going to be okay. I think they've really gone through and they've looked at having backups just in case. But I think he's going to be all right.
All right, Philly. So how is Sean Mannion going to unlock the strengths of Jalen Hurts, in your opinion? How is the new first-year play caller? What's his number one thing on how he's going to unleash this so-called Jalen Purdy Hurts? How are
he's gonna tap into Christian Parker and the greatness that's coming from Christian Parker at the defensive coordinator, where shirts have been made for him. Look, he's got to prove himself. He's an unknown, just like Christian Parker is an unknown defensive coordinator. He is an offensive coordinator. We have to see. I don't know, but I mean, I look at it like this. I look at it like they could have hired somebody who was established already or brought somebody in, I don't look at it like, well, he was the only choice because he's inexperienced. I look at it like they were impressed with this guy because everybody who's been around this guy has been impressed with him, and they felt strongly enough about that they wanted him to be the offensive coordinator. So I look at it as a good thing, not a bad thing. I expect big things from him.
If you're looking at this, though, who has set the person up to be successful and who has set somebody up to be kind of a failure? I can go ahead and look and say that, Christian Parker, whether he sinks or swim, he got the 2 guys in the first round that he wanted. They are listening to him to try and set him up to be successful. They're going out there and getting him everything else. What have they done to help set up Menon to be successful?
Well, they got him offensive line help. They've also got him a first-round wide receiver. They also brought in a couple other receivers. So maybe if you do lose A.J. Brown, you still have multiple receivers that can help and affect the team. You brought in 2 rookie offensive linemen that are pretty damn good, and you brought in the second best tight end in the draft. You're not hearing me because you can't have it 2 ways. That's what they've done. They've done multiple things to help Mannion out. So, it's not like Christian Parker's getting help and Mannion isn't.
Wait a minute.
What, 27 last year?
Do you think, Philly, that you're as talented as a wide receiver group with Dotson, Brown, and Smith from a year ago than right now? It would be Smith, Lemon, and probably Wicks.
No, I can't say they're as talented trading A.J. Brown. I'm not going to say that. But it's not like they're leaving the cupboard empty. They did bring in guys that collectively I think should be able to neutralize what you lose in A.J. Brown. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to sit there and say that they're better than A.J. Brown. That's crazy. But they're not just screwing the offense and not bringing in anybody to help. So I think it's a big difference.
Okay, Mark, Dak, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb versus Hurts, Devontae Smith, and Dontavian Wicks and Lemon. Who's got a better passing attack in the NFC?
Oh, is this really a question? This is Dak. I mean, you had 27th last year, and I'm going to say A.J. Brown made up for a lot of those passes that were kind of late and behind, being that big body able to get them. And you're going to replace him with the slot. Okay. All right. I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, I could say CeeDee Lamb had made up for all the missed Dak Prescott throws, the overthrows, the throws behind him. CeeDee Lamb made a lot of great catches that you love to talk about. Well, you know why they were great? Because Dak Prescott made bad throws. How about that? You can say that about any quarterback in football. Please. You're nitpicking Jalen Hurts, but you're not holding your boy to the same standard. Hold him to the same standard, Mark.
The only reason I'm bringing this up is because of the moves you've made. I'm not bringing this up for any other reason but the moves. You've brought in 5 new pass catchers and an offensive guy from Sean McVay's tree. And if you were staying status quo, Philly, and you were staying with the system that you had before, I'm not bringing it up. But your organization's actions are leading that you're going down that lane of being a passing team.
Did you not watch the status quo from last year? That offense was horrendous. It was horrendous. I don't care who the quarterback was. They weren't going to, and that's a testament to the players on the team. Do you agree?
You're trending more to want to have a passing attack like Dallas than you are what you've been doing. Do you not agree?
Would I rather have a passing attack like Dallas?
You're trending more to want to look like a Cowboys spread offense in the passing game than you did in what you've done the last 5 years.
I think they're going to throw more than they have maybe in the past, but I don't think it's going to be as much as you think it is. I still think the bread and butter on that team is going to be to run the ball.
Then
and you're
why
going to
do you
say,
have
well,
3-1?
why do you go out? Well, because you have to have the threat of a passing game. Otherwise, it doesn't work if you're one-dimensional. Just because you run the ball more, you throw the ball more, should you not go out and get players that can play that position?
I'm just saying, okay. Wait, get this. So you got a 1 tied up in Devontae. You got a 1 tied up in AJ because you traded for him with a 1. You've got 1 in Lemon, and you got a 2 now in Goddard, and you got a 2 in Stowers. And you're telling me they're not looking to become a passing attack?
I'm saying they're still going to be more balanced than you think they are. They're not abandoning their running back and that run game. I don't believe that. I do think they will throw more, but I also think that where they throw the ball more and their philosophy in throwing the ball will be a lot different. But I don't think they're going to be going from one extreme to the other. I don't believe that.
Mark, do you think, again, I've asked you this before, and a lot of people in Dallas, Michael Irvin asked me this too the other day, and I'm going to ask you, you think they've done enough at linebacker?
No. Now, the defense as a whole is tremendously better. D. Winters has only had the green dot, on a very limited basis. He's a decent linebacker, and I think will do well, but I would like to see them still make a move for a linebacker right there. My secondary, I feel great about. My defensive line, I feel great about, but we don't have a lot of experience at linebacker right now.
Philly, this compensation conversation about 28, I mean, so for me, you're not going to have any help for the 26 team and potentially the 27 team. I mean, make that make sense. I mean, make that make sense.
Well, I mean, I think everybody's
being reported. That's what's being reported.
Right. I think everybody. It seems like every team wants to keep that first round pick in 2027. But I mean, to me, it's if you could get a first, even if it's 2028. So they're saying what, a first and a second, or a first and a third, and the second and the third is in 2027. If you get a third in 2027 and first in 2028, I would rather, of course, have the 2027 first too. But that 2028 first gives you ammo to do whatever you want to do in that draft in 2027. So I can live with that. But as far as getting players to help this year, I don't know, man. Howie may have a trick up his sleeve with this trade that we're all not seeing coming. So we'll just have to wait and see what actually happens.
Can I give you an alternate, conspiracy theory here?
Sure.
That what the Eagles are doing is they're trying to find a reason to be able to get rid of Jalen Hurts. It's hard to get rid of a guy who's won a Super Bowl, been to another Super Bowl.
Not yet.
But if you set him up to fail, and if you're talking about getting a draft pick in 28, you're just basically looking at hitting the reset button.
Mark, a loser franchise like the Cardinals, I would believe that. But I find it hard to believe that the Eagles are trying to set landmines for the guy to fail.
If anybody should be setting landmines,
the Eagles have no problem getting rid of stars. They get moved off of Carson Wentz real quick. You went after losing your Super Bowl winning coach. They've done that before. Donovan McNabb. So don't be surprised if that is actually.
You're acting like the Eagles' offense is barren and it doesn't have any players on it. It's still stacked with offensive talent. What are you talking about?
Line is really not good
Philly,
anymore. How long do you think Saquon is going to be
I
great?
made a comment a couple days ago. I think some of those offensive guys that you're talking about, I think they're overrated. And I'm going to say where I think they're overrated. In the next 2 years with that 28 pick, you think Saquon Barkley's on the team in 28?
No.
I don't know. It's up in the air.
Lane Johnson?
But running back, I would say 2 years. He's probably got 2 good years left, I think.
Okay, well, then he's on the team in 28. Okay, Lane's gone, right? Lane's gone, right? Okay. You think Lane is on the team? You think Lane after restructuring? I
don't know. I don't know, because it looked like I've never seen a guy restructure a contract in which he's actually going to lose a year. I've never seen that. So I honestly don't know about Landon. Lane probably will be retired. That is true, but that's 2028. If we're talking about this year, going into this season,
no.
They still got these guys playing.
I'm talking about in the next 2 years, you're probably going to replace 3 O-linemen and a running back, not even counting a quarterback. That's a different looking team by the time you get that 20.
Yeah, 2028. You're right. What what other teams aren't going to have changes either? I mean, are the Dallas Cowboys 2 years going to have Dak Prescott 30-something years old?
I'm not comparing the Eagles.
Here's the thing.
I know, but I'm just saying
I'm not comparing the Eagles. I'm not comparing the Eagles to the Jets here, though.
Here's what I can tell you is Howie Roseman is a fucking genius. Okay.
Yes.
And one of the problems with the Cowboys is they always feel like we're close. And you're never really bad enough to get the real good talent to really build and change and turn over a roster. So we constantly keep rehashing and adding a piece here and there and all that. Howie Roseman is smart to recognize after you won the Super Bowl before, it kind of rebuilt the whole team and ended up going on a run. You may be on the precipice of him realizing this team has kind of hit its peak and it's going downhill. Let me look at how I can go ahead and start it all over again.
Start it all over.
Hey, I'll ask you this question, Mark, about the Cowboys.
The Eagles don't start all over. They retool. They retool slowly.
So do you think
2
that's
years.
what they're doing offensively here is retooling?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're seeing a shift because of the amount of stars that you have, young stars on defense that you're going to have to pay. Yeah.
Hey, Mark, do you think Jerry Jones cares more about TV ratings or Super Bowls?
He definitely cares about the TV ratings because he's already got the Super Bowls. But I'm going to say, if you watch the draft coverage from ESPN that came out, you actually saw Stephen Jones, and you can ask him about this. I think Stephen Jones is really taken over. The way he was the guy who was making all the calls and everything else, there seems to be a sense of urgency. And this is where I'm wondering if they're looking and saying, before Dad leaves away from here, I want him to know that the team is in good hands because they are operating, totally different than they usually do.
I'll tell you,
choking like Dak.
Wait a second. When I saw you guys, when I saw you guys draft Caleb Downs, I could have swore you drafted Moses. Oh my God! I mean, Billy, did you see that thing when they drafted Caleb Downs? It was so fucking over the top. It was like a celebration of like the new year,
as opposed to Philly 500 with his sniffles.
I've ever seen.
I know. It was crazy. I didn't watch it though because I was busy doing work.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. All right, here. So I got another one here for you here.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Wait. This isn't pessimistic here. That's not. Okay. So AJ Brown, how is your offense going to look without him in 2026? And why I ask you this, how many games are you giving this new pass offense? Mark, I'll ask you, is this whole thing with the new coordinator, the new approach, how many games do you think this is going to take hold? Last year he had 17 and it never took hold. What game this year do you think this offense is going to be hitting on all cylinders?
You mean the Eagles offense?
Yeah.
The Eagles offense, new play caller and getting Jalen Hurts to have to throw across the middle.
New offensive line coach.
Week 10?
Week 10. Okay. What about you, Philly?
Week 9. I don't know.
Okay. No, the reason I ask you.
I don't know. No, okay. I don't know.
Wait, the reason I ask you.
It'll take a while. I think first half of the season.
Okay. Well, here's the question then. Do you think Barkley and the O-line have enough left to carry the team while the offense gathers steam here? Again, because in 24, remember what happened? You pivoted and you went to the run game because the pass game struggled, right? So
they gave up after 4 weeks.
They gave up, correct. My question is, do you think you have the same personnel that you had in 24 going into 26 to be able to combat the new offense? You're going to have to give it time to grow, no?
No, it takes a while to get going, I'm sure. Will they play their guys in preseason at all? I mean, they don't do that. I always think that puts them behind the 8 ball. But, I mean, Yeah, I mean, I think the key to this team really, and really the key to the offense, you could talk about Jalen Hurts over the middle throwing it. To me, the whole key to the offense is Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens healthy? Is that offensive line healthy? If they're healthy, I expect them to return to form. If they're not healthy, then I think it's gonna be a problem. But the key to this offense is that offensive line, in my opinion.
Hey, the new coordinator that you have, a couple more here, guys. Christian Parker, the impact that he has on your football team this year.
The craziest thing is typically the Cowboys, when they hire somebody, they've hired somebody that they're familiar with, that they can just kind of run over. I don't know what Christian Parker said in his interviews with them, but they have bought into him hook, line, and sinker. They are listening to him, and they're actually trying to make him successful. I can't look. I'll be real with you. When I look at Mike McCarthy being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, I can't look and say, here's some great things that the Cowboys did to try and help them. It was always we were letting great players go without replacing them. Right now, they are on a mission to make this guy successful.
Philly, well, Chris
Corey
Cooper.
Jackson will help.
Oh, I saw
We're
that.
talking about depth right there.
Did they sign him?
No, not yet.
Now Adoree Jackson's going to be a fine cornerback with a lot of skill and potential because he goes to the Cowboys. Mark will be, Dad, Adoree Jackson, did you know that in 1937
tackles last year, one interception?
It'll be something. He'll find something. All of a sudden, Adoree Jackson's great because he plays for the Cowboys. He stinks just like Mark's team
Philly,
and it ain't changing.
Everybody you sign is Howie robbery. Every single bum that you sign is.
I love it. Just wait till June 2nd, buddy. Just wait till June 2nd.
Lordy.
You're going to see another robbery. You're going to see a big robbery. Robbery.
Why do you think that the Patriots and Elliott Wolf would give up Christian Gonzalez?
I didn't say that they would.
Okay, I thought somebody said to me.
But I will say this. I do have a conspiracy theory about this.
Oh, I love that. Let me hear it.
All right. So I believe if you look at the 5 years Devontae Smith has had his softball game, for those 5 years, players within that on those softball rosters, players that weren't on the Eagles became Eagles at some point during the season. They traded for Jahan Dotson. They tried to get Micah Parsons last year. Every year except for last year, and they tried to get Micah, which was on the team. Every year, whoever's on that softball game could be potentially an Eagle. I think it's a front. It's a real, celebrity thing, but I think the Eagles use it to bring in guys and let the players see how they get along.
Like a mafia.
I do.
Business.
Yeah, of course. And I think Christian Gonzalez going there is very curious to me. It's just very curious. Why, of all the years, why now? Why this year?
Hey, Mark, they got a mafia like front house here. So what they do is Devontae interviews the potential future Eagle guys there at the softball game.
Hey, you and me.
I love it.
We know. We know how it works.
All
right. You say, hey, look, Devontae, invite this guy. These are potential guys we're looking at. Bring them in. See how they get along with the rest of the guys. Yeah, I think they do it. What if could Howie Roseman pull something off like that? I could see it. Now you'll say, well, Christian Gonzalez needs a full, long-term contract. He does, but he's got 2 years on his deal. What if Howie's like, yeah, I'll just bring him in for 2 years and try to make a run for 2 years?
Hey, Mark.
Why not?
Keep asking Eagle fans this one question. Okay, ready?
Good.
Where's Jaylen Carter's contract? I've been told for 2 years now.
Where's Dak Prescott Super Bowl ring?
Get this.
Why is that?
Last year. You know what they told me?
Okay.
They got rid of Milton Williams and Josh Sweat because they had to pay Carter. Well, where's that deal?
It's coming.
Really?
It's coming. It's coming.
Before September, are you on the record saying that the Eagles will have a deal?
Sure. Why the hell not? Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're sitting here with $25 million in cap space. Why not get it done now?
They're 28 million, and I think they want to see how he comes in after all season of work. I think they want to see how he comes in, if he's in shape, his shoulder is, and how he looks, and if he comes in ready to go. I think they'll do it. I think August.
Okay. Like right before the start of training camp, right? Maybe somewhere
like during training camp. How about the third week of preseason? You're going to get an announcement, breaking news, breaking mother humping news. The Eagles signed Carter to an extension, and Dak still has got no rings. There you go. Now back to the program.
Hey, Mark.
Okay.
Man, how many wins this year for the Cowboys?
We've got the
12?
second toughest schedule in the NFC right now. The Rams have the worst. Eagles have, I believe, the 8th. I think 11.
Where's Pickens' contract? We were talking about Carter. What about Pickens? Where's Pickens' contract? The great receiver.
Pickens ain't homegrown. Pickens not.
Pickens.
Here's the thing. Here's the reality with the Pickens thing. This is actually, for once, the Cowboys may have actually made a good move.
I'm not
giving that guy. For him to be able to shop around and find out nobody's willing to pay you more, it makes him say, I've got to show up. I've got to bust my ass, and I got to look good if I'm going to get the big fat payday.
Here's the problem with Pickens. You know what this problem is?
What's
He's
that?
falling into
he plays for Dallas.
He's falling into the deep. Well, Dallas is helping this. Is that he's fallen into the diva group that he believes that he's a fucking superstar, like player, when quite frankly, he's on a football team that is a high volume passing team that threw from behind.
Mm-hmm.
If you put him on a contending football team with a quarterback and a balanced offense with a balanced team, that guy's 1,100 yards. He's Adam Thielen.
I'd be okay with that. 1,100 yards from him.
I mean,
1,000 yards from CD.
Yeah, fortunately, Dallas isn't a contender. That's what he's saying.
And keep in mind one thing: the Cowboys were one of the worst teams at getting the football, taking the football away. We only had 15 last year.
Terrible defense.
This defense can get more takeaways and give them more opportunities in short fields, you're going to really see this offense do some damage.
But wait, Philly, last one here, man. I got the Cowboys winning the East.
Of course. What a surprise.
Wait, what do you mean, what a surprise?
Dude.
Wait a minute. I think you have too many changes.
We could have
always criticize
on that team. And
you always criticize other teams that have a lot of change. You got a lot of change too.
They do. They got change, but they've also got, I think, stability too. I still think they got stability in the right areas. So yeah, there's change, but there's also stability. I think you got stability on your line. I think you got stability at quarterback. I think there's stability with your defensive players that you have. So I don't think it's change in the wrong areas. I think they'll be all right and be able to get away with it.
Hey, so you got a guy here, man. He thinks you got more than like 7 or 8 wins this coming season.
Eagles Drew's a genius.
Hate mail, send it to Dan.
Eagles Drew is a genius. He knows what he's talking about. Shout out to Eagles Drew. He knows.
So like are you getting harassed, Mark? Mark, and I will agree one thing on Philly. Philly says this about you during the offseason. You're laid back, you're calm. You got during the season, man, you are a wreck. You're like you belong in a psychotic farm. Like you every week. Am I wrong? Everyone, wait a minute. Am I wrong? When he comes on every week, it's this. Look, it's this. He's got his hand like this. Now he's like this. Look.
Well, look,
getting a pedicure. Like,
how do you expect me to be? Eagles end up winning. The Cowboys end up losing. I'm supposed to come in. Hey, no problem. No, we fucking sucked ass last year.
You've had
you had the Commanders last year?
Huh?
Zander said you had the wow.
I did. I also had you guys.
And the Eagles were coming off a Super Bowl.
You know what? That's the only thing they can land on, because you know what I said? They'd have 11 wins and gets bounced in the opener.
I guess it didn't work out.
I mean, no. What it did work out was I said you'd win 11 games and get bounced in the opening round of the playoffs.
But you said we wouldn't win the division.
What?
You said we wouldn't win the division, though.
I did. I also, like I said, I did say that. And I also said many things there. I said, you guys are getting knocked out in the first round. I didn't realize you get knocked out by a stiff 49er team.
Oh,
so Cowboys, you got the Cowboys winning the division.
Yeah.
What's their playoff gonna look like?
That I don't know yet.
still quite early right now. Okay.
We know, quite early. They're going out quite early, is what he means.
One last one. Mark, do you think the Cowboys have one last move left?
I think they do. I think the Cowboys, I think they've actually got, the publicity they're getting for doing things the right way. I think you kind of get high on that. And I think they're looking and saying, we really do have to do something right now. Jerry Jones is going to be 84 years old this year. 84 years old. And he's talking about wanting to win a couple more before he retires. And the only way that's going to happen is you've got to actually go through and put the bodies out there. And they've done a good job so far, but I don't think they're finished yet.
Well, he better buy a soccer team because
I want everybody to remember this moment though. April or May 6th, I don't know what month it is. May 6th, Mark is acting like the Dallas Cowboys have done the right things and are going to be a force. So when they lose and choke,
you're putting words in my mouth now.
And then he starts saying they didn't do enough. They don't have the right players around Dak. You can go back to this moment and say, there you go, Mark Holmes, same shit again.
I said 11 wins and that they need to do more. I've not said
you just said they got one more move. They love the success they're getting.
I think that they have at least
on the media. No, you're building them up. Let's hold Mark accountable here.
Is the move that gets made for them.
All right, last one here for you, Philly. Does Howie have one last move?
Two. I think he's got two. Well, because I assume one of them is going to be the AJ Brown thing, right? Yeah. My hope is that somebody comes in and outbids New England. That's what I would love to see. But I think you got two moves left. I don't know how big they are.
Keep an eye on the Chargers.
What about the Chiefs? I mean, there's talk that the Chiefs and they're saying the Rams may re-enter the whole thing now that they didn't get a receiver in the draft. So I'm hoping that we'll get a bidding war here.
Would you send AJ Brown to the Chargers for Derwin James?
Probably. Yeah.
I love contract. They got contract issues with him. Derwin James.
I mean, he's what they need. I just don't think they would do it though. But I don't think Eagles will pay that much for either.
But he's one of my favorite players in the league, Derwin James. That guy's a monster, man.
That would be scary.
I know.
Yeah, that's a monster there, guys. See, Billy thinks that I load the deck on him. I could tell by his smirks. And I'm not loading the deck here. You just got more drama. Bro, you just got more drama than usually the Cowboys. The Cowboys have no drama. The Cowboys this year have no drama.
Give it time. We'll be picking Mark up off the floor by August. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Hey, Mark, we may have to send you some more bourbon, dude.
Mark's out of excuses at this point. His quarterback is what? In his 30s, 11 years in? Yeah. You're running out of time there. They got to be desperate, Dallas. They should be desperate.
I got a prediction. Ready? The next starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys is going to be somehow Arch Manning.
Really? So they're going to win the division, and is he going to be a first? You think he's first overall pick next year?
Yeah, I do.
So how the hell are they going to get him?
They're gonna trade up.
They're going to have to trade the quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, what a glorious day that'll be when Mark Holmes has to make a
Texas kid, putting him in the building in there, keeping him in Texas. Just saying.
That would be interesting.
You trade Prescott, and
right now
you see Mark's face when you said that.
Oh,
his eyes start twitching.
It's year 11. Why you guys traded Donovan McNabb
and led you to get a Super Bowl,
bro? They traded McNabb and Wentz.
Tell him, Sills. Tell him.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it gets to a point, like you said.
See, Mark's eyes are twitching.
Mark,
you're getting him upset.
You just got through saying, Mark, Jerry Jones is 84. What are we looking here?
Yeah. You ain't got much time left. Yeah, I mean, I'm not wishing.
How
but I
many
know
more
one day
years
for
does Dak
55.
have on that contract?
There's really an out after next season that they could get out of it.
You know, there's an out after the 26 season too for the Eagles for Wishbone Hurts.
So we begin to just remotely talk about Dallas a little bit, and you turn it right back on the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Just keep crushing him with the Dak Prescott. Let me enjoy this moment.
We're just going back and
I'm
forth.
enjoying 30 seconds here. Just
hey guys, I appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys check out all their fabulous content. Thank you guys so much. You guys are great. All right.
Peace.
Peace, man. I love you guys, man. You guys are great. Phenomenal. Let's go back here and get some of these super chats that we missed here. Hold on here. Okay. We got this one here. We got another couple ones here. Let me go back. I learned how to scroll. How about that thing that Zander threw up there too at me? Half day sells. What the fuck is that? The old man did that too yesterday. I didn't even respond. Hey, what the hell are we doing here? May's 2 hours. Dak stats are made when the Cowboys are up big on bad teams. No, actually, I think it's more they're behind. They play starters and blowouts. Now, it's more of them being behind because the Cowboys are constantly playing from behind. Philly, you'd love to be able to say CD made up for the missed Dak throws, but he drops them too often. He does have a lot of drops. That guy plays great in the slot. Yeah, that's BS right there. Zander even threw that up. How you doing there? So, really? God dang, she just keeps too much score. She's a ping pong. She's a shit starter, too. Jalen Hurts wouldn't be picked by no team if he's released. As a matter of fact, Jason Brown last week said Jalen Hurts had no trade market. Go back and listen. Coach Jason Brown, and not Big Sills, said that Jalen Hurts would have no trade market. I didn't say that. I think there'd be a couple teams, but not as many teams as you think. Okay, not as many as you think. Let's see here. Saying Saquon is washed is just a crazy statement, but you got to expect that from whack-ass Cowboy fans. Well, wait a minute. He was 41st in yards per carry last year. Let me take a look at that. I want to double check because I had an idiot say in here that I said that I included quarterbacks. So let's see how bad that was last year and where Saquon was in rushing yards per carry. Average per carry. Okay, with 50 or more. We'll go 50 or more carries. Not there. Not there. Here. Okay, so there's Cook. There's 1. Henry, 2. 3. Bijan, 4. Blake Corum, 5. Henderson, 6. Dobbins, 7. Gibbs, 8. Taylor, 9. Swift, 10. Williams, 11. There's Jaden Daniels. We won't count him. Mason, 159 carries. It's 12. Williams and Dallas, it's 13. Gainwell, 115 carries. That's 19. Walker, there's 15. Stevenson, there's 16. Chicago back, 17. Washington, 18. Dowdley, Carolina, 19. Warren, 20. Let's see here. Montgomery, 21. That guy only had 7 carries, so I count him. Pollard, 22. 23. Chase Brown, 24. Brees Hall, 25. Tampa, White, 26. NTN, 27. Tracy, 28. Aaron Jones, 29. Chubb, 30. Wright, 31. Miller, 32. Barkley, 33. Barkley was 33 last year in yards per carry. 33 in yards per carry. And you don't think that's a problem? Yeah, but none of your stats will bring up stats. That's his performance. You could be small and very effective in the slot, but is your quarterback going to throw across the middle of the field? The $1 million question. Okay. Sales, y'all missed me short super when Zander was on. Zander, can we find David's, please? Thanks. Thanks, David. Yeah, okay, David. Yeah, let's see here. Gator Boy. Anybody with Gator Boy? It kind of is, but I'm good. Hey, good. All right. So what I'm going to do then is I got to take a timeout anyway. 30. So wait a minute now. Let me get this right. Saquon Barkley is 33rd in yards per carry. You were 31 in 3 and outs. You're 23rd in passing. But this is going to change. A competent, balanced team with a good D wins. You never mentioned this when bitching about Hurts. They're called challenges. You're the ones that think he's going to do this. Okay? Hey, and one more thing about Dak. Dak's a really good player. Dak's Phillip Rivers. Dak Prescott's Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is going to the Hall of Fame. Let me see. Let's go up here and let me see Dak. So Dak's got, right now, he's 32. He's got 35, 989. Probably got 3 more years. And he's averaging 4,700 yards, 4,500 yards. Another one. So Dak will probably have another 14,000 passing yards. Nah, not quite Phillip. Not quite Phillip. Phillip Rivers is a 60,000-yard passer. Dan, a Dak shrinks in big moments, like Sills jumping in a cold lake. I'll tell you what, like I said, you guys will never get it. The same way you insinuate Hurts is the problem, I could say Dak is 12 years into his career and has never led his team past the second round. Good player, but don't win you anything of any substance. Correct. That's a fair statement. All he's done is his accomplishments have led him to being the highest paid player in the league. And what you guys don't realize and don't understand and won't, winning championships in games doesn't get you paid. Players make their money on their accomplishments. How you look at a player is based on his talent, not based on his team. That's why people criticize Hurts. Of course he's out. Of course he is. And again, here, see this guy? That empty calories got him 60 million annually. And that's exactly how you get paid. Thank you. Empty calorie? Don't ever tell people that making 60 large is empty calorie. Imagine that. A guy thinks that what Dak Prescott has done in his career, making 60 million annually, is empty calorie. You would never know what you're talking about. Sills, Dak didn't throw with anticipation when he came into the league. Correct. John Kitna was the one who made Dak into the passer he is now when he was his quarterback coach. I like John Kitna. If Lemon and Stauer do for the offense what Q and DeJean did, it's going to come down to your quarterback. Empty calories make you so much money, but no Super Bowls. Super Bowls don't get you into the Hall of Fame, my friend. Like I told you, 33 players have won Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVPs, and they're not in the Hall of Fame. 33 players have won that award, Super Bowl MVP. And again, Walker got paid, not with the Seahawks. World champs didn't pay him. Brock, word is if you don't think rookies can bust, then you're delusional. Of course. Absolutely. All right. Do me a favor, guys. Appreciate you very much. My friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It's because they win. Tell you about the family in Florida who ended up getting $350,000 in a settlement. They ended up getting nearly $12 million in settlement. Think about that. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FOR, thepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sale sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Absolutely awesome. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Hit that like button. See here. Dak hasn't won because he doesn't have the support around him. Jaylen won because he has the group around him. Completely true. And he's got a better organization. Hey, do me a favor. Don't try to convince people of that. That organizations and great organizations win. I mean, why do the Jets suck so bad? Because of the owner. I mean, that's like saying you compare the Jets and the Eagles in the same light with Woody Johnson being there. How psycho is that? You think there's organizations that are good? I mean, it makes no sense when you go down that lane. Our issue wasn't the roster last year. It was the coaching and how he still went crazy getting new toys anyway. Got him ready for the season to start. Dan, what do you got under we are fans? We don't, hey, Dan, what you got under we are fans. We don't care about what a guy gets paid. Well, you're missing the point on how people see players. You see players differently as normal folks do, and talent evaluators. Talent evaluators don't look at Jalen Hurts in the same way that they look at a Justin Herbert. And this is where the flaw is. Do you actually think that if you were to draft quarterbacks right now in the NFL draft, where do you think Jalen would be drafted today? Where do you think he'd be drafted? 15th? That's not true. But let me read it, Steve. Rumor has it JJ wants to stay now. I heard about that. Yeah, okay. Why in God's name would he want to stay in an offense that won't get him the ball? New assistant GM is brother to Browns GM. I could see the Browns and the Eagles making trades in the near future. See here. Slide with no time left and 2 picks in San Francisco. Look, I've made the comment to you numerous times. I think Dak does fold a tent in the postseason. He's got to play better. There's no question about it. I'll take Jalen Hurts over Joel Embiid, the 10-man, any day. Steve, I see the comment. Joel Embiid is a 10-man. Seals Wonderlic matters for wide receivers. Randy Moss, 12. CeeDee Lamb, 12. AJ, 12. No score for Lemon reported yet. They give you 2 points for signing your name. I got 25 on that thing. I think there's 50 questions. Hollywood, isn't there 50 questions on that thing? I thought there were like 50 questions. And everyone in the world have the same opinion on Hurts as Dan, except the people here with Hurts. Yeah, of course. Me too. I expect. Hey, how about this, Yale? I'll make a prediction. Yale, I think he's going to be a favorite to win the MVP. Okay, let's see what Harbaugh has done. I want to show you something about Jim Harbaugh, too. And how many places Jim Harbaugh is a coach. I want to show you this. So here's Jim Harbaugh and why this guy, everywhere he goes. So here's his coaching record. By the way, I think he played 17 years. Here's his coaching record. He was 29-6 at San Diego. Then he was 29-21 at Stanford. In his last year, he was 12-1. His last 2 years, he was 20-6. And 14-4 in the Pac-12. Then at Michigan, his last 3 years, he was 5, 6, 7. He was 37-3. And with the 49ers, he was 44-19-1. Won an NFC championship. He's taken over the Chargers, and he's 22-12 in 2 years. He's 66-31. Every single place he's ever been. Jim Harbaugh's a winner. There's nothing like him, okay? And by the way, Justin Herbert's 2-0 versus the Eagles. Sills, I know this is random, but I'm curious as a new dad. How did you and your wife raise your daughter to pursue sports? I love for my kid to be a golfer. Okay, David. It's a great question. This is what we did. Okay? I think the number one thing that you have to teach your young kid is the love of the game and the love of what they do. Don't put them with shitty coaches. Don't put them with shitty people. You've got to make them love the game first. If they love the game and the sport, most coaches, what they'll do is they'll drive the love of the game out of the young kid. Coach them hard, coach them stupid, say dumb shit to him or her. And we made sure we put good people around her that gave her the love of the game. Then as she gets older, then what you do is you go through having better coaches, better people. The number one thing, though, is teach your kid to love what they do. That's how you become an athlete. Most coaches try to run the game out of you because they'll be critical. They'll tell you some bullshit. And if I listened to every fucking coach that I had, I would never have been the 56th player taken. Okay? Right? Herbert outplayed Hurts with a broken hand and still ran unlike Hurts. Okay? Let's see here. Crowley, I don't know how many times I need to say wins aren't a quarterback stat. The Chargers are 2-0. Well, every time they bring it up, I got you. I agree with you. Lions have improved last few years, but they still not doing anything. Herbert is very good, but the organization and injuries have made it hard for him. Dude, when you put a guy like Brandon Staley around a coach, around a player like that, the Charger organization with the Spanoses have been brutal. I mean, as owners, they've just been brutal. That's an organization back in the day, just terrible. So the Eagles are going with all these wide receivers that aren't big. AJ was a possession wideout. Juan Jennings would fit perfect. Big but catches everything. Manning has adapted a lot to his mindset. Well, how do you know that? Lions and Bengals are my sleeper picks. Hey, that's a good one. We'll go here now. Here's what I say about the NFC East. Okay? And here's some of my questions about the East. I do ask the question, have the Cowboys done enough at linebacker? Here's something on the Giants. How are the Giants going to fill Dexter Lawrence's role? I mean, you acquired a lot of good players. Okay? You acquired a lot of good players. But how in God's name are you going to replace Dexter Lawrence? Like, how are you going there? I mean, I think the Giants are going to be better. But to what level? I don't know. The Commanders. Have the Commanders put enough good talent around Jaden Daniels? I don't know. I like their GM. And, you know, I know Zander doesn't agree with this, but for 25 years, Daniel Snyder owned that team. He was just as bad. Here, let me ask you this. Okay? How many years do you think it would take for a new owner and GM to turn the Jets around? What do you think it would take if a new owner walked in and bought the Jets and you had to revamp everything, front office, personnel room, new coaching staff, new scouts? How long do you think it would take to turn the Jets around with a new owner and a new GM? Four years. That sounds right. I mean, the guy's owned the team for 2 years. 6 years? Right. 6 years versus 25 years of bad drafting, bad head coach hirings. And you think you're going to turn it around? How long do you think it's taken the Eagles to get to where they are right now as an organization? 25 years? To where they're hitting on all cylinders, draft choice, money, all that. You think that was overnight? That took 25 years for the Eagles to get to where they were. The Joe Banners, Howie, being fired, being brought back. And you think the Commanders are going to turn that around in 2 fucking years when you've had 25 years of dog shit ownership? Don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So again, keeping Jaden Daniels healthy is going to be the key to this. I can't answer that question, Sills, because the Jets have been a shit show before I was born. Right. They've been a shit show for 25 years. Oh, I love that kid. I do. I love that kid. I think, hey, Jags too. I mean, the Jags were good when Tom Coughlin, first time around. You know why? Drafted Tony Baselli. He got Baselli number 1 overall. Okay? Number 1 overall. And they built inside out. That's how they built it. I have a bet you'll be better than the Giants. I can't stand your team, but not letting my hate cloud my judgment. So I think a lot of people don't understand that unless the players are picked in the first 2 rounds, it takes at least 2 to 3 years before you see real production. Everyone wants instant production. These players that, the Eagles have drafted or the Cowboys have drafted, you're rarely going to see things like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, you rarely say that. You do. You rarely see that. Like last year's guys didn't contribute. Campbell did a bit, and Makuba did a bit. The rest of those draft picks were non-factors. How many picks did the Eagles have a year ago? 2 played, and some. Right? You didn't have a lot of production out of your draft class last year, and I think Campbell's good. How many teams are hitting at 30% of their draft pick sales? Would you say 4? If that. Dude, if you can get 3 guys out of a draft that, and remember, when you're a good team, draft picks don't play. Sales, where all time do you think 24 team ranks? Because they beat Andy and Mahomes. In the Super Bowl era, that defense, what they did, pretty high. Top 15 in the Super Bowl era. Not better than those Steeler teams. And they're not better than those Cowboy teams. You're not better than the 85 Bears. A couple of those Patriots teams you are. Not all 6 are better. Maybe 3 are better. You're better than both Giant teams that won the Super Bowl, not those LT teams. Maybe the second one, not the first one in 86. Hard to go back into the 70s. But their performance was real, and defensively was great. It takes a while, especially with players coming from small schools to the NFL. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. Here, I showed you this. Let's take a look if that thing did end up panning out exactly as I said it would. 2026 NFL draft. Okay. Let's see how this panned out Let's see if I turned out to be right. Let's see. 1. Okay. 1. Let's see. 25. 25. Let's go down here. 25. 1. Okay. And 24 is 1. 32. 32. 32. In 96 picks, only 3 players were taken from non-power 5s. So the chances of kid coming out of small schools. Now, you'll get small schools in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in those rounds, but you're not going to gamble first-round picks any longer on non-power 5 guys. That trend will completely continue to go down that lane. You will, I say next year, the chances of you seeing a non-power 5 guy drafted in the first round will be 0. And these kids transfer now. It's not because these schools aren't producing really good players. It's that organizations, they're going to go to the big schools for the first round. And again, think about that. 96 draft picks. Only 3 players ended up going to non-power 5 that were first-round draft choices. Seals, is it bad that I want the Eagles to continue with the status quo? No, I'm with you. Dude, the Eagles, in my opinion, if they stayed the course, I think they'd win 11, 12 football games and win the East. But because they're doing all these crazy moves, I'm not doing it because they're not good. I'm doing it because they're going off the reservation. It's almost going to be a completely different offensive team. Okay? It's going to be a completely different football team. Current rosters, 49ers versus Eagles. Who has the most Hall of Famers on it as of today? Olane's one. Eagles are young on D. It's unfair. You got a more veteran team. Hollywood. The 49ers are a veteran team. They're one of the older teams in the league. Now, the Eagles' offense is getting old. Malata's not a Hall of Famer. Landon's not. Cam's not. Lane is. There's no skill set guys that are. It's crazy to see how the players' power in college has changed. They used to have to sit a year if they wanted to. Yes, I had to sit a year. When I transferred from Maryland to Miami, I had to sit. My God, I wish to God I played in today. And I love the fact that the kids don't have to sit. I love that they don't have to sit today. I think it's great. And, okay, they don't have to do any of that, okay, to get a chance to go and, play right away, like the same way that the coaches get a chance. It won't take. Don't worry. That transfer rule won't hold up in court. Never hold up in court. No way. My buddy was a Cowboy fan, says the Cowboys have wasted the most Pro Bowl careers out of any team in the last 30 years. That sounds right. You know why, David? The hiring of shitty coaches. I mean, the Cowboys have done everything right but hire a dominant coach, except for Parcells and Jimmy. Those are the only two coaches that he's ever had as the owner of the Cowboys that were good. The rest of them were do boys. Sills, why doesn't anyone mention the 90s Green Bay coaching staff? Tremendous. Mariucci's on that staff. I believe Gruden was on that staff. Andy Reid was on that staff. They had so many. And how about this one too? Look at the backup quarterbacks. Mark Brunell, behind Favre. Brunell, you had a whole bunch of them. I think, what's his name? Kurt Warner was also on that team. Crazy great. All right. My great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It is because they win. Folks, this will be the easiest decision you ever make in your life. They started this company over 25 years ago, making sure your family is well protected. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face. Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the jet setters and the high rollers, to the shot takers and the tastemakers. Welcome to the viewfinders, the thrill seekers, and the night owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Somebody's got it in for Mike Vrabel. So I'm reading a new story here on Twitter here. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and former NFL insider Diana Rossini rented a boat together back in 21 while she was pregnant. Vrabel and Rossini were the only people on board for their 2 to 3 hour rental, according to sources. Jesus Christ. Hey, there's a big bomb coming before the start of the season. We shall see. Guys, I appreciate you. Hit the like button. See you tomorrow, 2 to 6. We'll catch you on the flip side.